Yes, I know we're a little late tonight. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies. Welcome in. Welcome in. We have a good show lined up. Actually, a really fun show. It's been a long time coming. It's one I thought we needed to do for a while. It is. We're going to map some things out, put a visualization to things to try to gauge the possibilities that exist. Try to gauge what we think are. I don't know. Well, the open will kind of shed a little light on it. The open will shed a little light on it. I got a couple of cases we'll cover today during the open that deal with timelines and what goes wrong when people assume things into timelines and not sit down and actually break things out. So I hope you guys enjoyed Candace's battle bun tonight. Battle bun was activated. It was wild. It was wild. Oh, I got to show you something she did. Let's see if I can find it real fast. Yes, here it is. Here it is. Real quickly. This is not part of the show, just something I saw today that it was hilarious. And I figured I would mark it and come back to it when I went live. Check this out. This is the original picture right here of Candace and Charlie and Ben. And you'll notice Ben and Candace are about the same size. Now, I can testify. I've stood next to Candace. She's not a giant. She's not like 6'8". She's petite. But look at the picture here. Look look what she did to him in the thumbnail. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So he is actually, I think probably, I don't know if he's wearing lifters or what, but he's probably an inch or so taller in that picture. But in the thumbnail, she made him like 5 inches shorter than she is. Ladies, that's 8 inches shorter. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So I thought I would highlight that you don't mess with the queen. She will sting you. If you go after a queen bee, she will sting you. You better watch out. You better watch out. And her little worker bees come after you too. It's a bad situation, Benny Hanna there. You better watch out. You better not cry. Oh, you don't believe in Santa Claus. My bad. All right. So we got a lot lined up. We got a ton to do today. I want to get right into it. I know it's late. I know this is an unusual time for us to go, and it'll probably affect the audience a little bit tonight because people, well, where are you? Usually start at 5:30 or 6, sometimes 6:30. Yeah, well, it's 8. It's 8. But probably won't do a show tomorrow night in all likelihood. And because of that, people can catch up on it tomorrow if they miss it. So nobody's going to get too far behind. Everybody will be taken care of. This is going to be an important show, though. I think this is a show that people will reference down the road. This is a show where people will screen cap things, identify things, see things in a new light, and then reference that later. So I think it's a very important show. It's a show we should have done, frankly, 3 months ago, but we had so many other things to cover. We're just now getting to it. So I know it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. I know it's like 4 a.m. in London. You Australians are loving it, though. It's like high tea over there, and you guys are getting a little Real Baron podcast. So with that said, let me jump right into the open. Oh, grumblers. I got a nasty gram today that someone said I forgot the grumblers last night. I didn't see any messages from the grumblers. I even scrolled like 5 times looking for grumbler messages. I didn't see any. So I apologize. I have no idea what time is it in the Balkans. I bet they're pissed. No doubt about it. We're huge in the Balkans. I've got a giant contingency, a lot of Albanians, Romanians. I have no idea what time it is there, guys. I apologize. I don't keep up with the time zones around the world. But what I do, though, is keep up with the opening statement, and I will get right into it to make sure, although it's a late night, we don't go too deep into the late night. I did activate. I don't have a battle bun. Hair's not long enough. I would join Candace in solidarity with a battle bun. I can't. But what I do have is battle tea. Battle tea. You know, when I'm slugging caffeine after 8 o'clock at night, we have a good show lined up. So here we go. Here is your opening statement. Confessing to a crime has long been regarded as the queen of evidence in criminal proceedings. A confession alone often carries the day in courtrooms. In other words, a confession can be the cornerstone of a prosecution's case, sometimes overshadowing things like physical evidence or witness testimonies. This quite obviously stems from a deeply ingrained psychological and cultural belief that no innocent person would admit to any part of a crime that person did not commit. Prosecutors frequently argue that confessions provide irrefutable proof of guilt. Judges instruct juries to consider them as voluntary and reliable unless proven otherwise. However, this reliance on confessions can be wrong. Indeed, there are numerous examples of wrongful convictions documented by organizations like Project Innocence. According to the National Registry of Exonerations, false confessions have played a role in about 13% of all known exonerations since 1989. The importance of confessions lie in their ability to streamline investigations and secure convictions. Law enforcement often views a confession as a slam dunk. A confession, after all, reduces the need for things like exhaustive forensic analysis or alibi verification. In high-profile cases, public pressure to solve crimes quickly can incentivize police to prioritize obtaining admissions over actually gathering evidence. Confessions also can serve as a narrative function. They allow prosecutors to weave a coherent story for the jury. Unfortunately, the emphasis can lead to tunnel vision, where investigators ignore exculpatory evidence that contradicts the confessed narrative. A common integration method known as the Reed technique exemplifies this. By the way, the defense lawyer in me hates the Reed technique. I think it basically should be outlawed, but that's another opening, maybe another day. The Reed technique involves isolating suspects, confronting them with sometimes fabricated evidence, and minimizing the consequences of confessing, which can coerce admissions. Why then would innocent people confess to crimes they didn't commit? Well, for several reasons, actually. Coercion and duress during interrogations play a major role. Suspects may be subjected to marathon sessions lasting 12 hours or more without food, without sleep, without legal counsel. This leads to exhaustion and inevitably compliance. Police might use deceptive tactics, such as falsely claiming to have DNA evidence or eyewitness identifications. These erodes a suspect's confidence in their own innocence. This contamination occurs when interrogators feed details about the crime, which suspect then incorporates into a false narrative, makes the confession appear knowledgeable and credible. Vulnerability factors, exacerbate the risk. Juveniles, frankly, even some adults, have underdeveloped brains. It makes them more susceptible to suggestion, less able to appreciate long-term consequences. Individuals with intellectual disabilities or mental health issues may confess to end the ordeal or just plain old please authority figures. Even some mentally sound adults can succumb under stress. The phenomenon of internalized false confessions happens when innocent people begin to doubt their own memories, especially if they are intoxicated or they're traumatized or they're maybe influenced by media coverage. For instance, repeated questioning can create false memories, as seen in cases involving recovered or dream-based recollections. Situational pressures can also contribute. Promises of leniency, such as reduced charges or even the ability to go home, even if it's not true. Those things can lure suspects into admitting guilt. In group scenarios, one person's false confession might implicate others. This creates a domino effect. Cultural and racial biases also play a role. Minorities often face more aggressive tactics. There are systemic prejudices. These boost confession rates in the minority community. The consequences of false confessions are devastating, obviously. Think about things like wrongful imprisonment. You got an eroded public trust in justice, and real criminals going unpunished. Consider the case of Chuck Erickson and Rick Ferguson. In the early hours of November 1st, 2001, a guy named Kent Heitholt, he was a sports editor for the Columbia Daily Tribune in Missouri. He was brutally beaten in the newspaper's parking lot shortly after logging off his computer at 2:08 a.m. I don't know why that was hard to say. The crime scene suggested a robbery. His wallet and keys were missing. Two custodians saw what they say were two white males near the body. One was calling out about someone being hurt before taking off. Police created composite sketches, but made no arrests for years. And then the case took a bizarre turn in 2004, almost 3 years later. Chuck Erickson, then a 19-year-old acquaintance of Ryan Ferguson, they knew each other from high school, approached authorities. He claimed to be haunted by vivid dreams and nightmares about the murder. For some reason, Erickson confessed that he and Ferguson had committed the crime together. He claimed they needed money after a long night out, that they robbed Heitholt and killed him when he resisted. Erickson's confession evolved during interrogations. He began incorporating details like the use of a tire iron that was never found, and even a belt to subdue Heitholt. Again, the belt was never found. Police then arrested Ferguson, who vehemently denied involvement, but was implicated by Erickson's confession. There was no physical evidence connecting the two to the murder. DNA from the scene did not match either man. Footprints were inconclusive. Nevertheless, the prosecution built an entire timeline placing the two boys at the parking lot at the time of the murder. Ryan Ferguson was just 17 years old at the time of the crime. He was convicted largely on Erickson's testimony and sentenced to 40 years in prison. The confession's apparent specificity convinced the jury. The jury wasn't bothered by things like lack of forensic evidence linking either boy to the scene. However, as post-conviction efforts added layers to the timeline, the case began to crumble. Appeals revealed prosecutorial misconduct, including withholding key evidence that tended to prove the boy's innocence. Key among these was a statement from Erickson's then-girlfriend confirming he was actually at home with her during the critical window, and it made his participation impossible. Phone records and witness accounts solidified his alibi. He was at a bar earlier, then home, miles away, with no time to travel back to the scene after 2 a.m. without being noticed. Erickson, for his part, recanted multiple times. He eventually admitted his memories were false and that they likely came from suggestion during 20-plus hours of uninterrupted interrogation, where police fed him details about the crime. A custodian eyewitness also recanted and claimed he was pressured to identify Ferguson despite mismatches in the description. For example, Ferguson wasn't muscular or blonde. As people looked more closely at the timeline, forensics showed the crime's very tight timeline, and it became clear there was just no time for the pair's alleged actions without extreme contradictions. In 2013, a Missouri appeals court vacated their conviction, cited the obviously insufficient evidence and prosecutorial misconduct. Ferguson was released from custody, but not before losing nearly a decade of his life. And to be fair, he received a reported $38 million settlement a couple of years ago. If that's not convincing, consider the case of a group of teens who came to be known as the Central Park Five. On April 19th, 1989, amid reports of rampant crime by teens in New York City's Central Park, a 28-year-old woman who worked as an investment banker was viciously beaten. She was intimately assaulted, and she was left comatose in a ravine. The attack occurred between 9 and 10 p.m. This was a chaotic night of muggings. Police were under immense media and public pressure to solve the crime. They rounded up suspects, and they focused on 5 Black and Latino young boys aged 14 to 16 years old. After grueling interrogations lasting upwards of 30 hours without parents or attorneys, the teens confessed on videotape to participating in the assault. Their statements described surrounding the woman, assaulting her with rocks and pipes, and then intimately assaulting her. They all admitted to it. Prosecutors used these confessions to construct a multi-attacker timeline. They portrayed the boys as part of a rampaging group. Despite inconsistencies that included troublingly varying accounts of who did what and when, and the troubling absence of any matching DNA, their confessions led to their convictions. Sentences ranged from 5 to 15 years. Apparently, the detailed confessions swayed their juries. The case unraveled in 2002 when a guy named Matthias Reyes, a serial rapist serving life, confessed to attacking the woman and to doing it alone. He gave a remarkably detailed account that very specifically matched facts that had never become public. like a particular brand of Walkman she was carrying, specific details about the ravine he left her in. His confession aligned perfectly with the timeline. He encountered her jogging, he dragged her off a path, and about 9:30 fled after the assault. When the DNA evidence recovered from the scene was retested, guess what? Perfect match for Reyes. The details added by Reyes exposed impossibilities in the boys' confessions and in their convictions. For example, the boys confessed to using the wrong weapons. There was no evidence of a DNA match to tie any of the boys to the scene. Park logs and even witnesses placed the teens in other locations in the park at the time. And then there was coercion evidence that also emerged. Police promised the boys they could go home and claimed they recovered the boys' fingerprints from the scene, which wasn't true. The boys' convictions were vacated in 2002. All 5 were exonerated. They eventually settled their case for a reported $41 million. I bring all this up, of course, in the face of Fed Slop pushers constantly claiming Tyler Robinson confessed to killing Charlie Kirk. First, there's no evidence he confessed. Outside of what appear to be obviously manufactured text messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs, there is no evidence of a confession. We don't know what he said to his parents. We don't know what he said to law enforcement. But more than that, people confess to crimes they didn't commit. I mentioned 2 instances where a combined 6 people confessed to crimes that led to the wrongful convictions of 7 people. All 7 have one thing in common. They were wrongfully convicted on the basis of those inaccurate confessions. Worse, the confession caused the police to do their jobs poorly. In short, the police basically stopped investigating to make sure they had the actual criminals. Worse still, prosecutors then relied on the inaccurate confessions and poor police work to secure convictions that turned out to be wrong. Tyler Robinson has an advantage today none of those defendants had. He has us. He has an entire community of podcasters and researchers reviewing every scrap of evidence, running down every lead, and doing the types of things that led to reversing the wrongful convictions of the defendants in the 2 cases we discussed tonight. Will every lead turn up evidence? Of course not. That's not how investigations work. Sometimes things aren't what they appear to be at first. But we'll take a look at a timeline tonight and we'll ask ourselves, does even the basics of the timeline make sense? And that is your opening statement. I hope after we go through this tonight, you'll understand why I was adamant on using those examples in my opening tonight. Because I think it's I think this timeline's interesting. I'm really glad we put this together. Special thanks to Daisy, obviously, for helping put it together. The inimitable Daisy. Also, WhoKilledCK.com had a lot of this information available for us. If you've not checked them out, they do good work. They've got a timeline feature. They got a search feature. They've got a kind of like an AI feature they use. It's really cool. WhoKilledCK.com. All right. Before I get to the timeline, and we will get to the timeline, but I know the timeline's going to take a long time, and then the time will run over, and I'll never get back to this. I want to open something that I discovered last week, and it shocked me. It frankly shocked me. After we did our story on the our Back to the Basics, when we went to the Back to the Basics series, we encountered a guy named Jeb Jacobi. Do you remember Jeb Jacobi? Jeb Jacobi was one of the very first outspoken witnesses to the Charlie Kirk neutralization. Jeb Jacobi was the guy who was seen with Phil Lyman, and there was a cell phone footage, and the lady was like counting him down, 3, 2, 1, and he was like, "I saw Charlie Kirk get shot," and she was like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "No, I just saw a man get shot." And then he went on 60 Minutes, and he talked about how he saw Charlie Kirk get shot, and it was weird because why is Jeb Jacobi up there? He didn't really have anything to do with it other than happen to be there, but so were 3,000 other people there. And he was there with Hunter Kozak, who obviously had a role in it because he was the last guy to ask Charlie Kirk a question. And so it was interesting to me when I came across this information here. This is was never disclosed, frankly. And I feel like it should have been. If you're going to run somebody out as a witness in a case, if you're going to run somebody out you should at least look, and I'm frankly ashamed I didn't look. You should at least look before you put him on 60 Minutes to make sure he doesn't have a criminal case against him. Here is the case in Orem Justice Court, Utah County, state of Utah, city of Orem versus Jeb Jacobi. This is a Class B misdemeanor. Granted, it's not a felony. He didn't murder anybody. But he did harass somebody. He did, and I'll explain more about it in a second, but make repeated contact by means of electronic communications, regardless whether a conversation ensued, after the recipient requested or informed the defendant not to contact the recipient, make contact by means of electronic communications and insult, taunt, challenge, make contact by means of electronic communication, threaten to inflict injury, physical harm, or damage, cause disruption, jamming, overload, whatever. So one of these things he did. And I've got a little detail here because he pled not guilty, but he pled not guilty to a diversion, it looked like to me, where he kind of agreed it's called a plea in abeyance here, right here in the middle. If I take certain classes, if I go to anger management or whatever, I won't be convicted. But if I don't, it'll hold up in the long run. But there actually was a restraining order against this guy. There was actually a restraining order against this guy. Let me see if I can slide down and find it here. There's his signature. There's all the information about it. There's his bail bondsman. Yeah, here's the restraining order. Here's the name of the victim. We've redacted that because there's no reason to. I mean, it's not redacted in the file, but there's no reason to splash it out there if we don't have to. But the defendant represents a credible threat to the physical safety of the protected person. The protected person is not an intimate partner of the defendant, but is a cohabitant under Utah law. I'll admit that was a little weird at first, but it just means they live together, like they're roommates. To me, cohabitation means you're like hooking up, but apparently that's not under Utah law. And then there's a bunch of things here he's not allowed to do. You can't threaten to commit acts of domestic violence or abuse. You can't harass, threaten, stalk. You can't use physical force. You can't engage contact. I just thought it was an interesting, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting, and then here obviously is where his doctor signed off on, I've been giving this guy treatment, all that. I just thought it was an interesting side note in this whole thing. Because I always wonder on these things, and I'm not accusing anyone of this, but I always wonder on these things. How do these people get involved? Like, how did Jeb Jacobi get selected to be the guy standing next to Phil Lyman saying, I saw Charlie Kirk get shot? How was he then trotted out on Newsmax and News Nation? How was he then trotted out on 60 Minutes? In other words, why him? There were 3,000 different witnesses. Why him? What did he do? And then I wonder, is it possible that somebody had something over his head? You know, and was it this case or was it some other case that didn't get filed? Was it something they discovered during the mental health treatments for this case? I'm skeptical, I'm cynical, and I can't help it. I will always be this way. I will never not be this way. And if I'm thinking it, I'm going to raise the issue. I'm going to raise the issue and let you guys think about it all you want. So that's it. There's nothing more to it. I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm not saying, are you saying he absolutely was involved and he was a crisis actor because they had some criminal activity holding over his head? I mean, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. That's the point. I don't know. I do think somebody should have raised the issue. I do think somebody should have said something along the way. I do. And I'm sorry. I'm one of those people that if I see something and I've got the reason to mention it, I'm going to put it up and show you the document. I don't want you to just take my word for stuff. I mean, you're welcome to take my word for stuff, but I want to show it up there. Okay, so that's it. That's it on Jeb Jacobi. Now I'm going to move into the timeline because this is, I think, the bulk of what I wanted to get to tonight. That Jeb Jacobi thing's been hanging out there for a while. I wasn't sure where to put it, so I threw it in tonight. I never believed that kid. I'm sorry. I had to say it. I think he's full of doo-doo. I think he's bull butter. Not that he's in on it. I mean, he might be in on it. All right, I'm going to pull up a map for you. I think this map is important. I'm going to pull up a map for you, and I'm going to show you the work your team has done here. By your team, I mean Daisy put in all these dots. I'm going to show you kind of an overview of the map first, and then when we get done with the overview, we'll go piece by piece. But I'm going to just kind of move around the map a little bit to show you where everything is. So this is the giant menorah, the UVU courtyard right here where Charlie Kirk was sacrificed. This is it right here. And you'll see the vast majority of the Tyler Robinson sightings are right here to the north side of the campus. The vast majority are right up here to the north side of the campus. If we slide back just a little bit and pull it back a little bit, you'll see there are a couple more sightings up here, and we've got them time-stamped, and we've got them, and we'll go piece by piece on this. I'm just giving you the overview right now. And if we pull way back, we've got a couple more Tyler Robinson sightings down here in southern Utah. But what I want to do is I want to run through this roughly 24-hour period. It's really about a 23-hour period. I want to run through this roughly 23-hour period, almost to the minute. And I want to show you where Tyler Robinson is documented to be during these times. Now, I will hedge by saying I can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt where Tyler Robinson was at any time. I can only go on things like news reports. I can go on things like cell phone cameras, Ring doorbell cameras. But even then, I have to count on the timestamps being accurate that are relayed to us by law enforcement or by the homeowners. I can go things by witness sighting. There are a couple of witness sightings in here. But again, we have to assume that the business owners who cited them are telling the truth. But we're going to just assume all that. We're going to take it in there. We're going to go step by step on this stuff. And what I want to do is I want to create in our heads, in our minds here, I want to create a step-by-step of where he was at each given step of the day. So let's go to the first time we see Tyler Robinson. And this was, frankly, a little shocking when I first saw it. This was, frankly, a little shocking for me. Because you start get the idea he can't be in all these places at once. This is 8:07 a.m. Tyler Robinson is spotted right here. Now, this is next door to the house, which is right here, where Phil Lyman will later be. So Phil Lyman will later be here. That's the famous image of Tyler Robinson limping down the road, or who is alleged to be Tyler Robinson limping down the road. At 8:07 a.m., he's right next door. Funny that. In fact, he's all over this neighborhood. Look at all these different sightings. We'll get to all those. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But here's where he is. And look how close he is to the campus. You see that? I mean, just right next to the campus. So this is the campus. Here's your menorah of sacrifice. Here's the Losi Center building up here. And way off here into the distance, just next door, the very house next to the campus, you have Tyler Robinson at 8:07 a.m. And I actually have that footage of Tyler Robinson at 8:07 a.m. walking just before, if I can get it to play. I hate TMZ. I'll explain more about that later. But their website is cancer. It's awful. Um, let's see if I can get this one to play without 30 seconds of ads. Uh, um, so give it another 10, 15 seconds. 5 seconds for an ad. Here we go. As soon as it gets out of here, I'll go ahead and play it for you. But luckily, I don't have a ton of TMZ footage. Okay, here we go. Let me share this tab instead. And you guys will see Tyler Robinson allegedly walking down the road. So this is him allegedly walking at 8:07. Notice he has a little hitch in his giddy up. He has a little hitch in his giddy up. That's important. That is important. I want you to pause on the hitch and the giddy up. He's got a little limp on his right leg. But Baron, we know he has a little limp on his right leg. Oh, do we? Do we know that? You know why I asked that question? Because I've got footage of him after this 807 with no hitch in his giddy up. He's not limping at all. And then I got footage of him later and he's limping again. You know the common thread? He only limps in certain outfits and then he doesn't limp in others. Almost like there's more than one person. Almost like one of the people has a limp and one of them does not. But let me roll this again real quick. You see that little hitch in his giddy up? He's kind of dragging that right leg a little bit, like his hip flexor doesn't quite pull his knee up as he's walking. He's got his hands in his pockets there. That is right here. That is this driveway right here. This is the basketball goal you can see in this image. He's walking from somewhere north up here on this kind of main road down this little 2-lane kind of cracked road with, frankly, junk all over the yards. And he's heading towards the campus, allegedly. We don't know where he goes, but we know he's headed that way. So that is that footage right there. That's the first image we have of him, 8:07 a.m. When do we next see him? Strangely, we see him over here, 16 minutes later, driving in a car. See the problem we have here? Here he is at 8:07 all the way over here. He's at 8:07 walking, and then 16 minutes later, some reason, he's in a car driving in front of this house right here. And I have that one for you as well. I got it from Project Constitution. Sorry, guys, I'm using my far monitor here. It's not as crisp and clean and easy. But I want to make sure I can see everything for you here so we don't get confused. All right, so this is from Project Constitution. Here is the footage. This is early in the morning, 8:23 a.m., 16 minutes later. So we saw him limping down the road at 8:07. And here he comes driving down the road around 8:22, 8:23, 15 or 16 minutes later, he goes driving by. Now, again, I want to go back and show you the problem here that I have. Why is he limping south on this road and then driving up this road 15 minutes later? Where was his car? You know, if he's walking south here, you assume his car's up here somewhere. If he's walking south here, you assume maybe he's going to campus or something. But this leads me to believe he walked down here, did whatever he was going to do, walked back up to wherever his car was, and then decided to drive through this neighborhood over here. Well, that's not something that makes sense to me, because this is 8:23, and again, all the way over here is 8:07. It's just a 15 or 16 minute difference. But when you think about where was his car, where was he walking from when he came here? How did he end up back in his car driving right here? So that is we're up to 8:22. By 8:29, if Governor Cox is to be believed, by 8:29, and I'll share Governor Cox with you here, he's actually somewhere else, believe it or not. He's all over the place. Here's Governor Cox telling you where Tyler Robinson is.
Additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th.
Walking towards campus at 8:07, driving away from campus at 8:23, arriving back on campus at 8:29. Again, could it be? Well, sure. And it's 4 hours before the event, so it's not like we're saying he was in Nevada at the time of the shot. That's not the case I'm building here. I'm not actually building any case. I'm just trying to figure out who the hell's driving around, who's walking, who are these people? Is it all Tyler Robinson? It's just a lot going on. And again, if he's arriving back on campus at 8:29, he's over here on this side here, walking south at 8:07, 8:23, he's over here driving north on this road that we saw him drive by. And then according to Governor Cox, he's back driving onto campus at 8:29. So again, could one person do all those things? Sure. I guess the better question is, why would one person do all of those things? I don't really have an explanation for that part of it necessarily. Interesting. Okay, let me go back to this footage here real quick. Oh gosh, I hate to have to play this clip. I think I might have played the wrong clip. I've been alerted that I might have played him in black and he should have been in maroon at 8:07. Another reason I hate TMZ, put stuff in chronological order. Put stuff in chronological order. That's what we're doing here. We're giving you a timeline. But I want to be accurate. I want to show you the actual footage of him walking in the right colors. Okay, yeah, so here. So this is, this isn't bad. I'll just play this again. It's him walking. I showed you him walking in black earlier. Now I'm going to show you him walking in maroon. This is actually the 8:07. Same driveway we saw at 8:07, but instead of him limping by in black, he's now going to be walking by in maroon. No limp, maroon shirt, light shoes, gray shorts, just casually strolling down the road. I just want to be accurate. So that was him at 8:07. Either way, he's walking down the road. All right. Now, live broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you got to correct yourself. All right. So we've gotten from 8:07, 8:23, 8:29. Then he disappears for an hour and a half. Governor Cox tells us he arrives on campus at 8:29, but he never told us he left campus. Are we to believe he's just milling around on campus this whole time? Did his charger stay on campus? Did his charger ever leave campus? Well, I don't know. What we have is new footage of Tyler Robinson now walking down the road. We saw the footage from the Ring doorbell camera of Tyler Robinson driving down the road. We actually have that same Ring doorbell camera footage, but it's an hour and a half later. And I'll show you on the map where that is. And then I'll show you the video footage of him driving down the road. So here's your map. This was the area right here where we saw him drive by at 8:23 with the Dodge Challenger. Well, here at 9:57, we see him walking in maroon shirt and shorts. Keep in mind, he was walking in maroon shirt and shorts over here an hour and a half ago. And then an hour and 10 minutes ago, or an hour and a half ago, he's driving around over here, and now he's walking back by. I'll show you that footage now. You'll get to see him walk past. There he is right there. You can barely make him out. The camera will switch in just a second. Give it just a moment to change scenes here. And there he goes walking by. So an hour and a half, this guy's just out strolling the neighborhood. Just strolling the neighborhood for an hour and a half. We cannot figure out why, what he's doing, where he's going. Now, again, this is walking back towards campus. Back towards campus. Now, one thing I want to point out is, I'm going to roll back a little bit here. And I want to go, I can't tell which road he came in on. So let me share this tab instead. This right here is the house that you were shooting out of. It doesn't show us whether he crossed the road from north to south here or whether he made this turn. We don't pick him up until he's already past the halfway point here. And after he's past the halfway point, we can't tell, did he come from the north or did he come from the east? And so I know inevitably someone will have that question because that's the first question I had when I saw this. Did he come from the north? Did he come from the east? Did he make a turn and walk down there? Because if he made a turn, guess what? We know there's a car on this cul-de-sac somewhere. One of these houses is in on it, or his car should have been photographed on this road by somebody. Or he's in the driveway or he's in a garage in one of these places. So, I mean, it's a big deal if he turned this corner or if he came from up here. Because if he came from up here, he could have come from literally anywhere. Like this road opens up to the whole universe. So it's a big question. Did he turn this corner or not? But we don't know the answer to that. You can't really tell that from the video footage. So let me close that out. We lost him for an hour and a half, and then we saw him walking down the Ring doorbell. We've lost him for another hour and a half. We've lost him for another hour and a half. But this is probably the most interesting video I found of Tyler Robinson, of the alleged Tyler Robinson. And it's frankly the least viewed videos of Tyler Robinson for whatever reason. I'll show you on the map where it takes place. It's right up here. Let me share the map with you. I'll give you the view of it in just a second, like the street view, because I think this one you really need to see the street view of. This is where it took place. It's this corner right here that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking from across the street. This house here has a Ring doorbell camera with looks like a golf course in the front yard. I mean, that does. It looks like a little bending par 5 right there. Kind of lay up to here with your 3-wood, and then you hit a long driver, you hit a long iron over to here, and then you pitch up to the green and you sink your putt. I mean, this looks like a nice little fairway into a green up here, but I promise you it's not. It's just a house. But this house has a Ring doorbell camera. It's shooting across to this house here, and we're going to see him walk by in just a moment. So there you go. This is a better angle here. You're going to see it kind of from this angle here. He's going to be walking down this street. And the reason I'm showing you this is it betrays the common narrative that he parked in this church over here. A lot of people think he parked in this church right here. Well, if he parked in that church, he can't be walking down this street from this direction. He's coming from the left here to the right. He can't be doing that because he's going to this campus up here. He can't be walking from the left to right down this main street if he parked here. Doesn't work that way. So let me show you the video footage. Let me show you the video footage. I've lost my house. Oh, there we go. So here is the footage.
So recently,
This is
some
Tyler
previously
Robinson, or
unreleased
allegedly Tyler
footage of
Robinson,
suspect
walking
Tyler
down the
Robinson was released by Chuck Keeler on YouTube. Now, this showed the
Notice he
suspect
doesn't
heading
have
in the
too much of
direction
a
of the
limp in
Utah
this video.
University campus around 11:44 a.m.
He stops at that street corner. I want to pause the video right there. He gets to the street corner and he stops. Going back to this tab here, it's this corner right here where he stops. So he's walking from up here, somewhere over here. He's walking down this hill. He's not limping that badly, frankly. He gets to this street corner and he stops under this tree. Back to the video and let you show what happens here. He stops. It's a little grainy, but he's standing right behind his light pole. This car appears to come over, slow down, say something to him, and drive off. That car is going to be important. I'll back it back up so you can see it, because that car is going to play a role 2 more times tonight. 2 more times you're going to see that car. So let me back it back up.
Looks at his phone.
He comes walking down.
Takes a phone call. Now, I can't tell if it's his left
knee
or his
is bending,
right hand.
his right knee is bending.
But to me, it's
his left
fairly
knee is
evident.
bending. Everybody that says he has a rifle.
The head goes down. The phone comes out. He's taking a phone
rifle
call.
there in his pant leg, but he's walking down the street.
Walking along.
Not limping too terribly much. Let me go back.
However,
here so you can,
it does seem
there he
to
is,
reappear
down.
as we move further forward. But take a look here.
Behind this white truck.
Now, the right
in front of
leg,
this
it
blue
seems
car.
that he's dragging his right leg ever so slightly. Let's drop this
And
down
we'll
to
go all the way
show
back
the
here and let you
suspect
see him
heading in the
stop at the
direction
street
of the
corner. Now watch
Utah
this SUV
University
that pulls up.
campus
I think
around
we've identified what it is.
11:44
I
a.m.
think it's a
In
2008
this video, the suspect
GMC
is seen
Yukon.
stopping at an
It
intersection
pulls up. It
when a
clearly
mysterious
pulls in. Now
vehicle
watch. It has
appears
to
to
pull
pull
left back
alongside.
into traffic to continue.
So in this
traveling.
video, I want to
That's an important fact. That's an important fact. I'll show you again what I mean by he had to pull left back into the lane of traffic to continue traveling, because it means he's not alone in all likelihood. It betrays the fact that he did this alone. You see this right here, this far right lane? These cars are not driving. They're parked. This is a parkway or a parking lane here on the right-hand side. Then you have a bike lane. This is this 2 thin lanes coming up the middle. That's a bike lane. This is only 2 lanes of travel. That solid double yellow line is a do not pass line in all 50 states. I don't know what it is overseas if you're watching overseas. In the United States, a double yellow line means you have opposite lanes of travel without a median, without a break. But there's no broken white line. A broken white line means you have multiple lanes of travel going in the same direction. There is no broken white line. There's a solid white line, meaning you may cross it, but you may not travel over there. There's a bike lane and there's a parking lane. So when this SUV rolls over to the right here, it rolls all the way to the right and slows down to a near stop while Tyler Robinson stops at 11:44 a.m. It has to then pull back out to the left to get back in the travel lane and continue traveling. That's an important development. The Fed Slop narrative is that they did this all alone. The Fed Slop narrative is he did all of this alone. That's it. He could not be alone if there's an SUV that pulls into the parking lane, nearly stops, and then pulls back onto the left and goes forward. He's not alone at that point. I think it's a very important development. And I'll talk to you specifically about that SUV two more times tonight. So let me back out of there, back out of here, and go back to the next stop. Because the next time we see him is 5 minutes later. And I'll show you where that is. Next time we see him is 5 minutes later. He is walking down this same street again. We last saw him here at 11:44. He stops at this street corner, an SUV comes over and then pulls back in the lane of traffic. He apparently then continues walking down this main drag, takes a left at this intersection right here, and then he starts walking south on this road here. This is the famous Phil Lyman house. This is the Phil Lyman house right here. This is where he was spotted at 11:49 a.m. walking down the street. He's actually on the left-hand side of the street as he walks south. And then he crosses the street right in front of this camera and begins walking down the right-hand side of the street. Right there. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize the guy was talking over me last time. I'll mute the videos from now on. I have it muted on my end, so I didn't realize you guys could hear it. Now we're back to that one. So if you guys couldn't hear me, if the guy was talking over me, I think he was describing what I was trying to describe, frankly. I just like the way I was describing it better. My deepest and sincerest apologies. Someone sent me a Reddit thread on Candace's subreddit that was talking about this program, and somebody was like, his production sucks. And he's constantly screwing up. I'm like, well, you know what? You try it. Harder than it looks. All right. Now we're back to this one. This is 11:49 a.m. We last saw him 5 minutes ago around the corner, apparently stopping at the street corner while an SUV pulled up to him. I'll show you more about that SUV later. But here he is now limping pretty heavily as he crosses the street. This is the same street he walked down at 8:07. He's already walked down the street once today. If this is all Tyler Robinson, if it's not more than one person. But this is him walking down the street with an apparent limp. Well, that's later. We'll get back to that one in just a little bit. And again, that is right here. So again, all of this has taken place right in this neighborhood. We've been nowhere except this neighborhood. We saw him walking here. We saw him driving here, walking here. We see him walking here. We see him walking here. It's all taking place in this neighborhood right here. All of it. Now, we're going to go to the indictment. We're going to read something from the indictment because we see him at 11:49 on Ring doorbell camera footage. And we're going to see him in just a moment in the indictment. If I can get it pulled up. Here we go. We're going to see him right here in the indictment. The discovery led to an intensive review of UVU surveillance to attempt to identify and track the suspect. Surveillance revealed the following. At approximately 11:51, the suspect entered campus from the north. That's right after he had walked by the Phil Lyman house 2 minutes before. He's seen wearing a black shirt, American flag in its center, dark baseball cap, large sunglasses. That's what he was seen wearing when you saw him limping by the Phil Lyman house. Throughout the surveillance, the suspect keeps his head down and rarely raises his head enough to get a clear image of his face. As he proceeds across campus, he's seen walking with an unusual gait. That's that dragging his leg behind him a little bit. Suspect walks with very little bending in his right leg, consistent with a rifle being hidden in his pants. Well, we saw him bending that leg. But where they're talking about is right here. He's seen entering UVU's campus right here. Apparently, he crosses over. You see him walking in front of this house at 11:49. He walks south. He crosses over this little ditch, and they see him enter campus right here. This little hole right here, this is the first image we see of him in the tunnel. And then he walks under this tunnel, and he comes out over here near the parking garage. And we'll get to that in just a moment. And we have him, I'll show you. This is the image we have of him. Investigator said he paused at the top of the stairs at 11:53 a.m. to pull out his phone before continuing into the tunnel. So that's the tunnel he came in on. These are the stairs where he walked up, but you'll see he's bending his left leg, and there's another shot on those stairs where he's actually bending his left leg, which is inconsistent with a rifle. These are skinny jeans. Where's the rifle? I don't see a rifle. There's a phone. There's no rifle. But again, I'm just trying to map out the timeline. I'm not necessarily proving his guilt or innocence here. But that is this stairwell at the parking garage right there. That's where that is. All right. 12:02. Here's where it's getting interesting. We're 20 minutes away from Charlie Kirk being taken down. 21 minutes away. Back to the share screen here. Back to the share screen. So we're 21 minutes away. At 12:02 p.m., according to authorities, this is just 1 minute after he enters campus, Mr. Robinson was seen walking on the north side of the Losi Center. I'll show you that in just a moment. The building where they say he would later climb to shoot Mr. Kirk. According to the affidavit, he entered the building from the southeast side, then 13 minutes later walked up a set of stairs to a walkway abutting the Losi Center. So let me get to that so you can see where he goes from here. That is right here. These are the stairs they're talking about. He's seen entering from the north side of the Losi Center. This is the north side of the Losi Center here. They see him coming here at 12:02. He eventually takes these stairs. These are the stairs they're talking about. What was he doing for the 13 minutes from 12:02 when he's seen right here until 12:15 when he's seen ascending the stairs? We don't know, actually. We don't know. There's suspicion that he was assembling a rifle. Would it take 13 minutes? Maybe. But that's the 13 minutes you have right here between this area here where the yellow dot is on your screen right here until he ascends these stairs right here. There's a 13-minute gap, and we're not exactly sure why. What is he waiting on? Now, keep in mind, Charlie Kirk is talking during these 13 minutes. He's thrown out the hats. He's taken his seat. Henry Dells begins asking him questions about the LDS faith. He's doing his give and take. Hunter Kozak is waiting in the wings as the second person. He's the one that's going to ask the questions about trans violence. If you were suspicious, if you were a suspicious-minded person, and you said, hey, well, they're going to wait on Hunter Kozak, and Hunter Kozak's not going, so if he arrives at 12:02, he would have to wait somewhere, not on the rooftop because he don't want to be seen. He don't want to be up there any longer than he has to be. But he'd have to wait somewhere milling around until it's go time, until it's time to get up on the roof and take the shot. I mean, that's a very, I think, suspicious way to look at everything, but it's how I look at everything. Now, right here is a small gate. It's 3 feet tall. You can't see it on this map very well, but I promise you it exists. See the red walkway here? UVU is very interesting in that their buildings are built into hills. And so you take a walkway out of the lower part of one building, but it goes right out onto the roof of another. This was famously discussed when they talked about the Sorensen Center, this roof right here, this red roof right here. You'll notice this is the floor of the Sorensen Center. This red roof right here, this red walkway is the floor of the Sorensen Center, but it's the roof of this Hall of Flags. And so UVU is a really weirdly constructed campus in that you can walk right out onto the roofs of these buildings, and it was only protected by a 3-foot walkway. And I'll show you from the indictment again, where it talks about how he got over that railing. So here is from the indictment. Police reviewed surveillance from the camera covering the roof and discovered that it recorded an individual dressed in dark clothing cross the railing. That's that 3-foot railing we were just talking about. From the public walkway, that's that red, I don't know if it's brick or what it is, but it's that red walkway that comes out of the computer science building, but goes right out onto the roof of the Losi Center. And the roof of the Losi Center is only blocked off by that 3-foot railing. He goes out over the railing and drops onto the roof at approximately 12:15. So at 12:15, he's on the roof. He will not take a shot for 8 more minutes, but he's on the roof. I want to show you something. When I say he's on the roof, I mean he's on the roof. Now, you'll notice anybody who's on this roof right here would be able to look right across to this roof right here and see him. It's a straight, direct shot from one roof to the other. I note that because standing right here next to this potted plant was a police officer. Standing next to him was a Charlie Kirk security guy. And they're standing right there the entire time for 8 minutes while Tyler Robinson's milling around on this roof, doing whatever it is he's doing. But that was at 12:15 that he crosses this little pathway. So from 12:15 to 12:23, he's in this shooter zone here. He's in this shooter zone. Now, that is the perch right here, the corner of this building, not this little part that juts out, but this corner over here. In fact, that part that juts out right there, I don't think has a clean angle all the way to Charlie Kirk. But if you go from here and you look this way, this little part that juts out would be blocked by the Sorensen building. So you got to get all the way over here on the left, and you got to hope they've positioned Charlie far enough to the left in this menorah up here that you'll be able to get a clean look at him. That's a big hope if you don't know what's going on, because you just have a very little window to get around this little piece of the Sorensen Center right here. He has to be seated far enough to the left right here in order to get a shot at all on him from the top of this building. I've run that ruler every way you can run it, and if they would have moved Charlie Kirk like 2 feet to Charlie's left, to the shooter's right, he wouldn't have had an angle. He wouldn't have been able to see him. It was critical that Charlie be exactly where he was placed, or there would have been no clean angle at all from that position. Now, that's 12:23. He positions himself in here at some point before 12:23 and gets ready to take the shot, allegedly, if you're buying the Fed Slop narrative. 12:23 and 50 seconds. He jumps off this corner of the roof right here. 12:23 and 50 seconds. He jumps off this corner of the roof right here. We've all seen the video, but we'll watch it again anyway, because nobody believes that this video accurately portrays a Tyler Robinson jumping off the roof. First, you have to go, let's show a piece of, I think Candace was the one that first showed the highest quality of it. This is from inside the Hall of Flags. This is immediately after the bang. You see right there. That's the little jut right there we were just showing on the Losi Center. This is the alleged shooter running within 3 seconds of the big bang. Immediately picks up and starts running. And you see him go off there towards the side of the Losi Center. So if we go back to here, that's all taking place over here. He gets up from this prone position within 3 seconds, is at a full sprint heading this way. Heading up towards the corner of the building over here. Within 18 seconds, he's able to get from here over to here and start climbing over the railing or start climbing over the ledge to jump down. Now, I don't know. You tell me. Why wouldn't you just run back down the stairs? Like, if you're Tyler Robinson and you're not particularly athletic and you're not a professional hitman, why are you scaling buildings like Spider-Man? Why not just use the stairs? They're right there. They're literally right there. But for some reason, he chose to jump off a 15-foot roof. I will never understand. I'm not inside the mind of an alleged conspirator to assassination, but hey, maybe you guys are. Maybe you guys are. Maybe that's your shtick. And then we got the classic FBI video footage, selectively and deceptively edited FBI footage of the alleged assassin jumping off the roof. This is remarkable footage in that it starts after the shot. We don't get to see him take the shot. And then it zooms as he's running down the road. It starts to zoom in just a moment. So that's him up there. See him right there on the right-hand side of the roof up there next to the little, I don't know what that little perch on top of the roof. That's his little black blob right there. Now watch what they do. You can see the shadow of somebody walking here on the lower left-hand side on this curb. You can see the shadow of somebody moving down there. See that? See a shadow of somebody moving towards the gunfire, and then it comes in. So we have no idea what's going on. We watch him make an incredibly athletic move here as he holds onto the building with one hand, holds his entire body up with one hand, leaps to the ground. ATG, baby. High knee to grass. Watch that again. Watch him jump down and watch his rear end touch the grass. It's amazingly athletic. I bet most of you can't do that if you want to. He's in a full squat there. Boom! High knee to grass, and now he's right back up out of the squat. That's a very athletic move. That is an absolute athletic move. Now, here's where people are distinctly dishonest. Because we raised the question. Are you telling us Tyler Robinson scaling buildings like Spider-Man, and you have the dishonesty crew, the Fed Slop crew, out there eating the Fed Slop like dog food, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, he didn't scale any buildings. He just walked up the steps, dummy. Well, no, he did. He scaled the buildings on the way down. He held onto a ledge with one arm, reached back up with the other arm. I want you guys to hold on to a building with one arm. Reach back up with the other arm and grab something off, and then drop 15 feet, land on both feet, have your rear end hit the ground, pop immediately back up and start running. I bet you most of you can't do it. I bet you most of you couldn't do it at 21 or 22 years old either. But that's him. He pops up. There's no gun. I mean, he's got some kind of a bag or something, but it's flopping around. It's not a 42-inch long Mauser. It's just not. Look at it. Look at it. It's moving all over the place. It's bent right there. And then he goes running off. And that thing is just flopping around behind him. There's no gun in there. That is not a rifle. 100% that is not a rifle. But I'm just tracking. So why did they zoom in? You'll see why in just a second. Because as he's running off, watch how fast this white SUV zooms out of the parking lot. You remember I told you there was somebody walking over there? You could see the shadow. Did somebody get in that SUV? Where did that SUV come from? If you go back to the beginning of the video, the SUV's not in the parking lot. That white SUV must have come in the parking lot at some point, perhaps to Tango, either drop someone off. There's a person here on the left-hand side walking at the very first of the video. This is within 3 seconds of the shot. There's a person here on the left-hand side walking. No idea what this person's doing. You can see him walk off, and that's when they zoom. They don't want you to see what he's doing. But you can see he takes a right because his shadow starts to appear over here on the left-hand side, and then they zoom. See, the shadow appears. So he was walking this way. He took a right. His shadow begins to come into the picture, and that's when they decide to deceptively zoom in. You can see a shadow there, and all of a sudden, no, we can't watch that guy. Let's zoom in over here. Well, if we're going to zoom, wouldn't it have been better to zoom right here so we can see him running across the roof over here and follow him? They don't decide to zoom until this guy takes a right, and we can start to see his shadow appear. And my guess is that's when the SUV showed up, because there's no SUV in the parking lot right now. My guess is an SUV turned into the parking lot at that time, if I had to guess. And someone probably didn't want you to see, did somebody get out of the SUV? Did somebody get into the SUV? Why did it zoom away so aggressively after he hits the ground? Because watch, I'll play it in real time. I won't stop it this time. You can watch him running away with what is obviously not a rifle. It's flapping around in the breeze. But then to watch the aggression that this SUV takes as it gets out of the parking lot. This is not like normal drive through the parking lot speed. That's quick. Like the car goes forward when it hits the brakes. And yes, it looks like a Toyota RAV4. I don't know what it is, but it looks like a Toyota RAV4 to me. For whatever reason, if that's relevant. But then he walks across the grass here. And right where we would get, there's that SUV turning right. Right when we would get to where we might actually be able to see where he's going, it cuts off. Oh, isn't that convenient? Fade to black. Pull in screen. Awfully convenient. Awfully convenient. Now, at some point, I'm going to go back to my map here because I'm going to show you how quick this turnaround has to be. This is where it's going to start to get really, really interesting. Because he jumps off this corner at 12:23 and 50 seconds. We have a timestamp on that to the second. He jumps off this corner. He runs across this grassway, and he stops right here on this sidewalk. Ignore that yellow tag for now. We'll come back to that. But he stops right here at this sidewalk. And it's 12:24. At some point, he is alleged to cross the street, go into these trees here, make his way all the way to this side of the trees, and there's a chicken coop over here. You can kind of see it right here on the right-hand side of those trees, on the left-hand side of my screen. See that little wood thing? That's allegedly a chicken coop. So at some point, he's alleged to have gone from here, from this corner, walk up to here, get into this area where the weapon was found, somewhere over here near this chicken coop. There's a little better angle. You can see the chicken coop there. There's a little better angle of it. The weapon allegedly was found near that chicken coop. He's in there allegedly at some point between 12:24 and 12:29. Here's why that timeline is so important. Because we're told while he's in there that he hid the gun, found a place to hide the gun, hid the gun, but not only did he hide the gun, he changed clothes. Changed clothes. Hold on. And that's in the here. Oh, outfits. That's right. Not clothes, outfits. That's why I couldn't find it. I was a normal human being looking for the word clothing. This is the key text. The alleged text between Tyler Robinson and his furry friend. I'm wishing I'd circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't even know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. I don't know how long it takes you to cross the street, find a suitable place to hide a rifle, change outfits, take off your old outfit, put on your new outfit. I think some woman wrote this. I've never heard a man say outfit a day in my life. Women wear outfits. Men wear clothes. In the 80s, we might have worn threads. But he wore an outfit in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the blank will I explain losing it to my old man? Well, why do I know it's that tight of a timeline? Well, because we have a footage of him. We have a time-stamped piece of footage of him running across, and I'll go back to the timeline map here, and I'll show you where he's seen 6 minutes later, 5 minutes later. So that's where the weapon's found. Again, he entered this bush no earlier than 12:24. He left no later than 12:29 because here he is. He is seen running back in this area at 12:29. So he has to get off this roof, get over here, get into this bush, find a place to hide his weapon, hide the weapon, pull out his new clothes, take off his old clothes, put on his new clothes, put his old clothes back in the bag, and then get over to here somehow without being seen. Again, he can't take this road. He'll be seen. I don't know. Did he come up in this? No one really knows how he did it. But then he's seen running through this area back here at 12:29. Remarkably quick. So remarkably quick timeline. We know he's seen because this is Phil Lyman's family's house. And this doorbell cam caught him between this area right here, running around back here. Now, I don't know why he chose to run back here, how he even knew he could run back there. I think most people who entered this way probably wouldn't even know this little area back here existed. I think you'd have to be pretty familiar with the area to know there was a trail that ran through these backyards and there were no fences and there were no dogs and there were nothing. But for whatever reason, he knew it existed. He was well aware. He knew exactly where he was going. He didn't get lost back there in the dirt between the houses. He's got an impeccable sense of direction. He's like Magellan. He's a modern day Lewis and Clark. He's got perfect direction. He's like a homing pigeon. You release him and he just starts flapping in the right direction. Incredible what this guy's able to accomplish in such a short, tight time period. You know, you're on the lam from the feds at this point. You're running from the law. And instead of sticking to the streets, you go to a hidden pathway that just happens to lead to the UVU Army ROTC Center, but that's neither here nor there. But you go down this perfect pathway through these trees that you just know it's going to come out on the other side, and you know it's going to come out here, and you're going to be safe, and you're going to be able to get back to your car. Incredible wherewithal. And if that was the end of it, well, we'd be fine. But believe it or not, it's not the end of it. Because the next place we spot Tyler Robinson is all the way over here on the other side of town. And not like hours later. We're talking 12:44. 15 minutes after he's seen, not in a car driving, but running behind people's houses in the dirt. in a new outfit. All of a sudden, we see Tyler Robinson on the other side of town. He was right here. And we got to get somehow to a car and then all the way up here into this shopping center. I don't know if you've seen this video footage of him in the shopping center, but it's kind of shocking. Ryan Matta had this video footage. I'm going to let him kind of narrate part of it and take part of this away because he does a fantastic job of explaining what it is we're looking at here.
What if I told you that I was about to blow this Tyler Robinson investigation wide open because we now have CCTV footage of Tyler Robinson at a different location than the university 20 minutes after the shooting?
I'll pause him. Yes, it's 20 minutes after the shooting, but more importantly, it's only 15 minutes after he was seen running on foot, not in a car, in the dirt behind people's houses. He hasn't yet gotten to his house. I mean, to his car. He's on foot. He's on the run. He's fleeing the scene.
This is the first time you guys have ever heard this story, and it's all thanks to From Convict to Conservative. This man only has 536 followers. So we're going to leave his link down below, and we're going to want to make sure we get this. We're going to get him over to 5,000 to 10,000 with this video because it's probably going to be the most viral video of this entire Tyler Robinson investigation. It's going to blow the FBI's narrative out of the water. Ready for this? Let's go. Okay, we got a lot to unpack in this video, and I just wanted you guys to stick with me. But it all started by Laissez-Faire Lounge. She goes by Pia. She sends me a DM, and she says, hey, Ryan, I got this guy that has footage of Tyler Robinson. They were trying to get through to the Candace tip hotline, but they can't get through. So
Candace, answer your email. No, I'm just kidding. I know what happens. Your email gets jammed full of people telling you to watch the podcast. Here's something that happened to me yesterday. You know, if the tip lines were reserved for tips, people would get to the tips. But the problem is the tip lines get filled with people who just email everything they see. And that's fine. You know, I'm not getting on to you guys about it. But what it does is it causes tips to get lost in people's email inboxes. And that's what she was experiencing.
he wants to share it with you. And he just got footage of Tyler Robinson 20 minutes after the shooting on camera. So I started working with my man, Convict to Conservative, and he started breaking this down for me. So the video you're looking at right here is at 12:44. Okay, that's 20 minutes after the shooting.
20 minutes after the shooting, again, just 15 minutes after he was seen running, changing clothes. I don't know that Ryan knew that at the time.
You're going to be able to see Tyler's car in this parking lot. But how do we know that that's Tyler's car? Because the FBI showed up to her work right after the shooting, I guess, or right after they heard it was Tyler. The FBI found that Tyler Robinson's cell phone pinged at this location. So the FBI said, hey, we want to know, do you guys got any CCTV footage of Tyler in this parking lot or his vehicle in this parking lot, or did he come into this business? Let's see your TV cams. It was right around this time. So she pulls up the security cams and she goes, yeah. And she asked the FBI, do you guys want me to do anything with this? They're like, nope, that's all we needed. We got copies of it. Thanks. And
isn't that a little weird to you? Like the FBI comes and they, you know, when they went to the hospital, they took all the footage. They took it all. Like the hospital didn't keep it. Not so with these people. So it's obviously not general protocol that anytime they have footage that's available to them, they just take it all away. That's only the hospital. And keep in mind, the hospital didn't have Tyler Robinson. It didn't have any suspects. It just had a deceased Charlie Kirk.
the FBI leaves, which is bizarre, and it makes you think that this wasn't staged. And I'm actually gonna post the conversation that I had with the flyover conservative, or sorry, from Convict to Conservative, down below this video. So it'll be in the comments. It'll be the first comment to follow, and check out that conversation. I screen recorded it when he called me and we went over all of this. So it's pretty crazy, but I want to unpack this video. So let's get into this footage right here. Okay, so the first video I want to show you guys right here is timestamped at 12:44, right? And we're going to watch back here in the parking lot. We're actually going to see Tyler Robinson's car drive by. It's going to happen at about the 20-second mark, but I just want to kind of skip through here just so it doesn't take so long. This video doesn't take forever. So we're at the 20-minute mark, right?
So that is 15 minutes after he was walking behind the houses in the dirt, having just changed outfits. He had to somehow get to his car and then drive to this parking lot. Well, what's he going to do in this parking lot? Is he going to go in and visit one of these businesses? Well, no, not at all. Let's watch what he does. This is fascinating to me.
Right there, right? And you see this vehicle right here driving through the parking lot, and it stops.
This guy supposedly had just committed the murder of the century. He took down a beloved national treasure. He flees the scene on foot. He leaves the rifle behind. He changes clothes. He jumps in his car. He still has his cell phone on him. Apparently not smart enough to realize the first thing you would want to do if you're going to commit a crime is do not carry your cell phone, because it tracks everything you do, everywhere you go, every step you take. It's got biometrics and everything else in it. And then he drives to a parking lot 5 minutes away from campus, and he just stops. He stops for like 2 minutes, 1 minute, 55 seconds.
He stops right there, and it's going to sit there. Now, it's going to sit there for about 2 minutes. And again, this is at 12:44. Okay.
If he's working alone, what is he doing? If Tyler Robinson is working alone, why is he driving to a random strip mall 1.6 miles away from campus, 20 minutes after the Big Bang, 15 minutes after he changed clothes and ditches the rifle? Why is he driving to a random strip mall, stopping in a lane of travel? That's not a parking spot he's in. I'll show you the strip mall. I'll show it to you right now. This is the strip mall. He was stopped in this lane of travel right here. He was not in this parking space right here. He was in this lane of travel, just parked, stopped for 1 minute, 55 seconds. Again, away from campus. All the activity had been taking place down here. He drives up to a random strip mall. We're supposed to believe this is just a random occurrence. And he just stops in this lane of travel up here for 2 minutes. He's not fleeing the scene. He's not getting back home. He's not leaving Orem. He's not circling around looking for his weapon. He's just stopped in a strip mall. That would be one thing if that's the only thing that happened, but pay attention to what happens next.
So the car's still parked there. We're going to zoom through. You can see people moving right about. Now it's going to start to take off any second.
Did you see that white SUV? It's a Lexus, this white SUV right here, parked right here. When Tyler Robinson is parked for, 1 minute, minute and a half, this white Lexus starts to move. Watch where it goes.
We're going to zoom through. You can see people moving right about. Now it's going to start to take off any second.
It goes, it turns to the left, it circles back around, gets behind Tyler Robinson, and then they drive off together.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, so there his vehicle is starting to take off, and that is at 12:46. So he sat there for about, what is that? It came in at about 20. He sat there for about 2 minutes, give or take, about 1 minute and 55 seconds. Car sits parked right here, okay? Okay, now here's the next video. Customers are coming and going. This video is at 12:47. Now, the next thing we're going to watch is we're going to watch the car. It's going to cook right back through here as it drives to the parking lot.
And he didn't even flee the scene again. He drove off. The white SUV circled around, got behind him. They drove off together. They're gone a minute or two, and then he circles back through the parking lot and leaves out the other way.
And there it goes. Holy shit. Okay.
I'm at this point, I'm at a total loss for words. Like, I would love to tell you, here's what I think happened. I don't know. Here's what I don't think happened. I don't think Tyler Robinson planned this whole thing in a week, was at all these different locations in this very tight timeline, stashed a gun, changed clothes, drove off, went to a parking lot, decided to hang out for a couple of minutes, wait for some random SUV to turn to the left, circle back around, turn behind him, drive off together, wait a couple of minutes, come back. I don't think that happened. I don't think that happened. Not if he's working alone. All right, we're almost done with this map. So we're almost done with this timeline of this day. Let me get back to the map. We know where we are here. This is the strip center. This is where he was from 12:44 to 12:48. The next place we find him. Oh, let me look at the table of contents here. Oh, next place we find him is at 6:30 p.m. Back on campus. Allegedly. Back on campus. Let me pull this down real quick. I'll show you the text. Here's the original story. This story actually changed, believe it or not. This is amazing to me. Here's the original story as it first was posted. Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old accused of assassinating Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University earlier this month, made contact with a police officer near where the investigators recovered the alleged murder weapon wrapped in a towel in the woods at the edge of campus. That's that place we talked about next to the chicken coop where he changed outfits. It happened around 6:30 p.m. on September 10th, roughly 6 hours after a sniper's bullet struck Kirk in the neck as he was engaging the audience. So this was the original version of the story. It happened around 6:30. Tyler Kirk was supposedly at the campus making contact with an officer near where the weapon is. I'm going to show you something remarkable. Something happened. What happened was Candace Owens got a tip. She got a video, not a video, a photo of Tyler Robinson at a Dairy Queen enjoying a scoop or a blizzard or some tendies or something. I don't know what he's doing at Dairy Queen. But they timestamped that at 6:38. So he's supposedly making contact with a police officer at 6:30. Weirdly. But then Candace drops this bomb in the lap of everybody. And once this bomb gets dropped, they have to fix the story. We'll show you the bomb first. Tyler Robinson at Dairy Queen after the Charlie Kirk shooting? What we know. Well, that looks like him. That certainly looks like him. That certainly looks like some kind of Dairy Queen treat he has in his hand there. Maybe a cone, maybe a cup or something. Conservative influencer Candace Owen released an image purporting to show the alleged murderer at the outlet during an episode of her podcast. And what we know is the image was taken at 6:38 p.m. Well, if the image is taken at 6:38 p.m., we have a real problem on our hands because the police told us that he was talking to cops at 6:30. He can't be in two places at the same time. He can't be talking to cops at 6:30 and ordering a snow cone or whatever they have it at Dairy Queen. You can see I don't go very often. So they changed the story. Believe it or not, they change the story. Fox News changes the story. You want to know how deep this Fed slop goes? Watch this. This is the version that currently exists. Mason said the interaction happened on September 10th, much later in the evening. You remember, originally it said at 6:30 p.m. Fox News changed their story after Candace Owens had an image showing him somewhere else when he was supposed to be interacting with the police officer. They changed the story. Well, either the cop did or did not tell you it was 6:30. Period. End of story. And if he told you it was 6:30, you keep it in the story. Now, you might do a follow-up story and say, police have changed their story after it was revealed that Tyler Robinson was actually at Dairy Queen at 6:30, and now they're just saying they don't know exactly what time. But you don't go back and change the original copy. You don't bail out the cops. That is Fed Slop 101. That is evidence you don't have a free and independent press. That is evidence Fox News is not your friend. That is evidence that they're all in it. They're working it together. There's a goal. The goal is to convict this clown. The goal is to put this patsy in prison. If that wasn't the goal, Fox News would do what any decent journalistic outfit would do and say, well, you're free to tell us you were wrong when you said he contacted you at 6:30. We'll run a follow-up story if you'd like to, and we'll say that you misspoke, but you don't change the story. I think it's remarkable. I think it's absolutely remarkable. So I'm keeping my timeline the way the cops originally said the timeline existed. At 6:30, he's back here near the chicken coop, making contact with a police officer somewhere in this area right here within eyeshot of the, on campus within eyeshot of the weapon, probably in this parking lot if I had to guess. Making contact with a police officer. That is the police officer's story. Now, we know because we have video footage that Tyler Robinson was actually all the way over here at Dairy Queen. He was not over here where the cops said that he was. He was not over here making contact with police. Now, where does he go after he leaves Dairy Queen? This is fascinating to me. He leaves Dairy Queen. He's at Dairy Queen at 6:38. But he's also seen at a steakhouse at 8:45 in a little town called Panguitch. He's in a little town called Panguitch at this steakhouse right here at 8:45. The people at the steakhouse said they saw him here at 8:45, and he was there from 8:45 to 9:30. Why is that interesting to me? Look at the timeline. If you have to drive it, if you go to Google Maps and you have to drive Orem to Panguitch, I'll show you how long it tells you it should take. That's Orem up here at the top. That's Panguitch down here at the bottom. And Google Maps says that's a 3-hour drive. They tell you that's a 3-hour drive. So if he's at Dairy Queen at 6:38 p.m., and he has to drive 3 hours, and he's just eating at Dairy Queen, but he just hankering for a steak, I guess. He's just at Dairy Queen at 6:38. Now he has to get somehow to Panguitch, Utah by 8:30. Less than 2 hours, even though it's a 3-hour drive. And again, if he knows he's heading south, why is he all the way on the north side of town at Dairy Queen? I've always found that fascinating. And then we lose him for the night. We find him the next morning, though. We find him the next morning, and this is our last stop on the 23-hour and 7-minute Tyler Robinson tour. Somehow he miraculously gets here in under 2 hours. He was there at 6:38. Now he's down here at 8:45. Don't ask me how, because he's also talking to a cop at the same time. It's almost like there's more than one Tyler Robinson, guys, honestly. But after this, we see him the next morning over here in Cedar City, getting gas at 7:15 a.m. Fox News had that story over here. Video captures Charlie Kirk assassination suspect Tyler Robinson during police manhunt in Utah. That's him right there in the background on that video. I don't know if you can see him. He's kind of in that highlighted section. He's wearing that same maroon shirt. He's wearing the same dark hat, but this time he has on jeans and not those weird shorts. And that's at a 7:15 a.m.-ish the next morning. Now, I'll show you why that disturbs me a little bit, why that throws a kink in the timeline a little bit. If Tyler Robinson has taken out Charlie Kirk all the way up here, and he's on the lam, he's on the run, he knows he's committed a major felony, he knows he's going to do life in prison or get the death penalty, but for some reason he doesn't leave town. He starts migrating north, and he's last seen at 6:38 p.m. at this Dairy Queen up here all the way on the north side of town. But again, he's working alone, so maybe he's lost. You know, he navigates brilliantly the backyard trail system, but then for some reason can't figure out north from south when it's time to leave town, I guess. I don't know. But he runs all the way up here to the north, and then he decides, you know what? I should be getting going. So he drives all the way down here to the south. Now his house, Tyler Robinson's house, is all the way down here. So all he would have to do is stay on this Interstate 15 the whole way, and he'll get home. But he doesn't. He gets way off the interstate for some reason. Look, this Interstate 15 runs right through where he was. He gets on this Interstate 15 and he just stays on this interstate. He goes all the way back to his house. It basically takes him right back to St. George. He never has to get off the interstate. Just runs him right back home. This is where he lives, right here. But for some reason, he gets off the interstate. He ventures all the way over to Panguitch, of all places, little tiny Panguitch in the middle of nowhere, and decides, I'd like a steak at a little place called Cowboys. I don't even know how he knows Cowboys exist, but he's there getting a steak, and it's 8:45 p.m. He doesn't leave Panguitch to go home. We don't know where he stayed that night. The police have given us no explanation of where he went or why he didn't just go home, why he got off the interstate at all. Was he ever on the interstate? What's the fear that he has? But he ends up in little bitty Panguitch, way off the beaten path. Again, this is this big yellow bright stripe, this ribbon of highway right here. All he had to do is stay on it, and it takes him all the way home. Instead, he gets off the interstate, ends up in this little bitty cowpoke town called Panguitch. And then he leaves Panguitch at some point between 8:45 p.m. because at 7:15 the next morning, he's seen here getting gas. I cannot for the life of me figure out what was happening here. Again, one has to wonder, is there more than one person running around out there acting as Tyler Robinson? And if you just took someone out, why didn't you go home? Why didn't you go home? I just never understood this. And if you go back and look at the text messages with the boyfriend, the alleged boyfriend, they stopped texting. They stopped texting. Once he confesses all the details of the crime, he basically doesn't talk to him again, not till the next day. His last text to him is basically like, hey, I'm hanging out here looking for Pappy's gun. And then the next text is like, I think I'm going to turn myself in. You didn't see him at home? Why didn't you go home? Wouldn't it make a lot more sense to go home? Isn't that like your alibi? No, I was here. Here's my car. Here's my roommate telling you how he saw me all night. That's why I think he's a patsy. Like anyone who actually planned a crime would do none of this. Like none of this makes sense for someone who actually planned a crime. None of it makes sense for somebody who said, you know what? I'm going to plan the crime of the century. And according to his text messages, I'm going to take the secret to my grave. I'm never going to tell anyone. But before I leave, I'm going to write a full confession and I'm going to put it under the keyboard. I've got a keyboard. I'm going to put it under the keyboard. Just in case. And not that the full confession in front of the keyboard is enough. Just in case he doesn't see that, I'm going to make sure I text every detail to him, even though I intended to take it to my grave, even though I haven't been caught, even though I think I've pulled it off. I'm still going to text every detail to him. The weapon, I'm going to confess to having made, I guess Grandpappy's gun's pretty good after all. Ha, 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 ha. It was a $2,000 scope. Ha, ha, ha. I'm going to tell him where I hid it. I'm going to tell him it was in a towel. I'm going to tell him I changed clothes. I'm going to tell him what time I got to campus. I'm going to tell him that it told him everything. And until you put the timeline up and you look at the entire timeline on a map, it's easy to lose sight of the fact that, well, they said they saw him over here. Well, they also said they saw him over here. Yeah, but when you put the timeline up and you put the map up and you start going place to place, it doesn't make any sense. Why would he be going back and forth, 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 back? Are you trying to get caught? Is it your goal to get caught? If you're fleeing the scene, you're going to stop. You're going to go north. When you live south, you're going to instead go north to get a blizzard. You just took a man down, allegedly. Get away. Stop going to campus. Stop talking to cops. Stop texting every detail. I just find it too hard to believe. I honestly wonder, and I think about this. These are the intellectual exercises I do. I think sometimes if they didn't have the allegedly real text messages that are so obviously fake, If I never saw those, would I believe Tyler might have tried to pull this up? Maybe, actually, honestly. I think the text messages were overkill. Because I think without the text messages, I would have at least thought he was part of a grand conspiracy, but played a key component. But as soon as they released the text messages, nope, I'm out. Nobody does that. Not the dumbest criminal on the planet texts every detail to somebody and explains how they did it, confessed to doing it. It just doesn't happen. That's not the way the world works. It's not the way criminals work. It's not the way human beings work, period. And I probably might still be wondering. I might question a few of the key details. Maybe I'd think, well, maybe it looks like there were other people involved in it. But that's the timeline. That's the timeline of the 23 hours of all the facts we know. From the time he first shows up on campus or near campus at 8:07 a.m. until he's last seen at 7:15 the next morning. That's the timeline. That's the timeline. What I'd like to do is put this in some sort of, I mean, we have a run here that I'm using tonight to go off of it. Daisy made it. It's beautiful. It's flawless. It's got all the links and everything. Maybe I could post this somewhere. But it's just something that needs to be out there. I've not seen anybody put it out there quite like this, with commentary and video by video by video by video, or statement by statement by statement. Look at the affidavit, look at the video. But when you put it up there, I'm sorry, guys. It's an absolute no-go as far as I'm concerned. An absolute 100% no-go. Again, sorry for the late show tonight, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging around. I know we're usually on this late, but we usually don't start this late. Usually we're wrapping up this late. But I do want to get through the Q&A and answer any questions you have about it. I'm going to leave it pulled up in case you have some questions as we go, specific to the timeline. Regarding Tucker, am I the only one with the executive order on 21025 on their timeline, followed by Bondi memo, disbanding FARA criminal enforcement, making almost all administrative civil penalties? Seems like Laura Loomer and the rest forgot. Did you watch my show last night? I actually mentioned that precisely. Go back and watch it. A good one. Sometimes people ask questions. I'm like, why do I do shows? Why don't I just do Q&A? Because apparently people don't watch shows. But I'm just messing with you. Thank you for that generous contribution, by the way. About Trump's words on Iran today. These are high-level intellect, very high IQ people. Perhaps he's watching our humble host, or should be. Crisis King. Crisis King, indeed. Mr. President, welcome to the program. This is a high IQ outfit. Take our advice and get the hell out of there. Leave. I don't care. Call defeat. I don't even care anymore. Just leave. Stop putting American lives at risk. Stop risking World War III. Stop putting Middle Eastern lives at risk. Stop risking World War III in their backyard. Stop risking the closing of the Strait of Hormuz. Stop risking a global energy collapse. Mr. President, please. Stop listening to your neocon friends. Stop. Channel Charlie. Great work, B. I mentioned Orwell's Big Brother last night, and you're correct. It and 1984 came out in 1949. I said I thought it was the 40s. I hadn't read it till the 60s. How did he know? We considered them sci-fi back then, yet here we are. I don't know how he knew. But thank you for confirming this is a high IQ outfit. We are the voice of America. They can't buy our people. United we stand. Your money means nothing to us. Who are they trying to buy? They can't buy our people. No one's tried to buy me. That can't be bought, but no one's tried. Thank you for the memberships there. Praying for Baron's sleep after Candace going live 2 hours later than usual. Yeah, I had to crank out another pot of tea tonight. What you guys don't realize is after I go off air, it takes me about another hour to finish the show. Meaning I've got to trim the first 2 minutes off. I've got to rewatch parts of it and add chapters. I've got to deal with some problems with YouTube sometimes because they get a little persnickety at times and demanding. Sometimes it takes even longer than that. 6,400 likes so far, guys. Really? That's all? We can do better than that. Those are rookie numbers. Hit the like button. Hey, Baron, what do you think the viewership would be if you, Ian, Coach, Lionel, Jimmy Dore, Tucker, Candace start doing live podcasting in an unsubscribe style format? We are more powerful. I don't know what an unsubscribe style format is. Unsubscribe style format. I don't know what that means. I wish I did. Because it sounds fun. I would love to hook up with those guys and do a show. I've supported Candace for a long time and admire her investigative zeal. However, I found that her gleeful attitude tonight was totally distasteful. A poor display from a good Christian. I didn't find anything distasteful about it. I didn't see anything particularly gleeful either. She had her battle bun on. She donned it. I thought it was a great show. More like that, Candace. More, please. I don't know what you're talking about. If you had specifics, I'll be happy to entertain them, but just not just general knocking at people. But Baron, you're the best. Keep going, Max. You said in a recent member show that your chess ELO was around 1750, 1800 when you played. Was that in person? That was online. I don't know. That might be worthless. I had a lot of fun though. I had fun. I bet I'd be terrible now. I haven't played in years. Online or in person. I played in person, so I might just never rated games. I'm praying for you, Mr. Barron, as your heart seems. I bet I wouldn't be a 1,500 player now. As your heart seems to be pretty heavy these days, our world seems to be pretty upside down and our friends are being hurt. I pray for you like I am for Candace and Tucker until my last breath. Christ is King. My heart is heavy, man. Our nation is at war. Our best are in harm's way, and that bothers me. But it's not just our people that are in harm's way. I mean, I'm a human being, and a lot of human beings are in harm's way. Hundreds of thousands of people are being removed from their homes. Their land is being taken. Civilian infrastructure is being bombed. These people rely on schools, hospitals, roads, bridges, oil facilities. Energy channels are being shut down. That's going to raise energy costs. It already is raising energy costs. You've got a lot of people that live on fixed incomes. A lot of people live on very tight incomes. An energy increase is like a tax increase because you got to pay your heat, you got to pay your light bill, you got to pay your gas bill, and you got to fill your tanks up with gasoline. And so these are very real consequences for people, and I think it's all for nothing. Sorry, it is. It's all for nothing. And it's a lot of human misery, and I wear that around my neck. I just do. I can't help it. It's just the way I am. I'm just built that way, and I can't change it. Thanks for mentioning Mississippi pot roast. Made first time. Amazing. I can't believe you've never had it. I don't remember when we mentioned it. Was it a member show or a regular show? But somebody brought up a Mississippi pot roast. It's one of my favorite dishes. I love a Mississippi pot roast. And if you had one, golly, it's tangy. It's just a hint spicy, not spicy, just a little finish. Super tender. Golly, that sounds good right now. Mrs. Coleman made some kind of red curry tonight. Woo! That was something. Wow. Taking care of your humble host. She's taking care of him. Baron, since you don't have a battle bun, maybe you need a hoodie that says this hoodie is my battle bun. I'll get a little rabbit tail. I'll take a rabbit tail off of my kids' toys and I'll tape it to the back of my head. How about that? That'll be my battle bun. My battle bun is on. Love listening to your high IQ take on seeking the truth for Charlie Kirk. Thank you. The Ben, Tiny Ben and Candace Pick cracked me up. Keep up the awesome work, Baron. I know you're an Auburn guy, but can I get a Roll Tide? No. I don't take it as seriously as I used to. Maybe I'll do it backwards. I'll do it how they say it. Roll Tide. Sitting in my greenhouse listening. Here we go. I hope it met your expectations in your greenhouse. I don't know what you're doing out there. Happy Monday to you. Here's a 5 spot for the Baron clip-on battle bunny. Hey, that's what I need. A tape on, a clip-on. I need some kind of, maybe I'll, Ian used to have a bun. Maybe I'll grow an Ian bun. I don't know, at 46, if you look weird with a bun, maybe. Hello, Your Highness. Just wondering, what are your thoughts that Jared Kushner could be running the White House for these satanic Zionists from the early 2000s? Seems pretty reasonable. Oh, Harvey, I heard you and Donna were on the Discord net. He's tired, he's sad, he misses and he loves you. TTMB. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know if that might be a tiny horse reference. I don't know what that means. Donna, call the man. Call the man. If you've been following the Donna Harvey drama, it's getting deep. I thank you for your bravery, and I lift up your prayer daily. Go, Max. Thank you. I appreciate it. False confessions make me think of the West Memphis 3 case in the early 90s. 3 8-year-old boys murdered in horrible fashion. Jesse Miss Kelly, clearly mentally challenged, was coerced into a confession. Case still disturbs me. It's interesting. I sat down and made a list. I wasn't sure which cases I wanted to use. There are a lot of false confession cases. I just picked a couple. I picked a couple that had a timeline component because I wanted to do a timeline. Baron, yesterday, Super Chatter wisely stated Iran may drain the swamp. You stepped on it saying Ian instead of Iran. Oh, thinking he meant Ian Carroll as president. Please correct and amplify. Oh, okay. So I still think Ian as president would be great. President Carroll. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what the State of the Union would look like if Ian Carroll was president? Mr. Speaker? I don't know who all do they greet. Members of the Supreme Court? I am your president, Ian Carroll, and I'm here to report the State of the Union is horrific. It sucks. State of the Union is tragic. The swamp is swampy. It stinks. Philadelphians swimming around in it. They're like flying through the swamp like pterodactyls. I don't know why Ian's going to develop a thick 1890s Southern accent if he becomes president, but I suspect that's what happens when you become president. You start speaking differently. Sounds like Foghorn Leghorn. Oh, man, President Carroll would be dope. I'll get my Secretary of State, Baron Coleman, right on it. We're going to solve all the world's problems. Vice President Owens will be there. Attorney General Lionel, nobody knows his last name. It's going to be awesome. Man, what a day that would be. Oh, now Iran. Let me see here. Iran may drain the swamp. Well, how would Iran drain the swamp? Iran, I'm not sure which. How would they drain the swamp? I can't amplify it because I don't understand it. I wish I did. It's already been a month. I'd much rather sit back and dream about Ian draining the swamp. Already been a month. I feel immensely smarter hanging out with this high IQ outfit. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Almost in my mid-50s, since I understand I've officially entered the death's door crowd. I've now put a deposit down on a scooter and started casually browsing caskets between errands. Christ is king indeed, Safe Tucker. Hey, let me tell you something that happened to me the other night. I'm at Publix. I'm just walking down the aisle. I'm looking for a particular brand of chocolate chips. I don't like a bunch of trash in my chocolate chips. So I get this brand of fancy chocolate chips that have almost no ingredients. It's like cocoa butter, cocoa, and sugar. That's it. But I'm looking for it. I can't find it. I'm scanning the aisle, and I noticed this. If she's watching, I apologize. This elderly woman coming down the aisle on a scooter, and she's staring at me. I thought, oh, this is awkward. Like, did I like cut her off in the parking lot? What is happening here? And she just will not take her eyes off me, and she's staring, and she gets closer, and she gets closer, and she's like, excuse me. I was like, oh my gosh, do I know this woman? I'm like racking my brain. And she says, you look just like my son. I was like, oh, okay, he must be a handsome man. And I started laughing. She goes, no, I mean exactly like him. I was like, oh, you're not in the mood to joke. I don't know if her son passed or what. Like, she had tears in her eyes. Like, it was like a moving moment. And I was like, well, I hope that's a good thing. She, oh, it is a wonderful thing. Thank you. And she just scooted right on, like, right on by. Did everything but ring the bell. I hope she's doing well tonight. I hope she's doing great. I should have told her about the show so she could tune in and watch her son. It was not my mom, by the way. Though my mom probably shops at the same Publix. Yeah, get you a casket. You're going to need one for long. Back to the basics. Let's not forget CK show only 8 days after when AK said they're processing their guilt, which Megyn Kelly corrected to grief. Well, she shouldn't have. She should have left it as guilt. She should have left it as guilt. Kirks were my neighbors and accidentally called him Nick Shirley. Quickly realized wrong YouTuber. Little to know he'd be the last one Charlie would interview. Why hasn't that show been released? I'm not sure I understand the first part of that. Kirks were your neighbors. You accidentally called him Nick Shirley? I think is what you're trying to say, Mandy. I don't know why they won't release that show. Did something go wrong? Is there some rumor or allegation? Appreciate you checking in, though. Thank you. Wait a minute. The Kirks were your neighbors in the condo? Can you email me? realbaronpodcast@gmail.com and just put Kirk neighbor in the subject line. I'd like to ask you a couple questions. To wife Babo, I love you and thank you, Baron, for always put on a great show. Peace and love to all. To my wife Babo, I am not your wife. You must be talking of someone else. I wouldn't make a very good wife, though. It reminds me of a joke, and I'm like, it's not. Well, I mean, it is YouTube friendly, but it's not Real Baron podcast friendly. It's funny though, but I can't say it. It's the punchline that would get me in trouble. I've been a sub since Ian sent us to you last fall. Wanted to join the members, but lost my job. Oh, lost my job in November. Today, I got a new job. Congrats to me. I celebrate. I became a member. Grand jury binge watching now. Oh, Leah, that's wonderful. Congrats on getting a new job. I'm sorry you lost your old job. Sounds like you might have enjoyed it, but I hope the new one's even better. And welcome to the grand jury. Baron, why would EK know to ask about frangible rounds when on the phone with the surgeon? With her supposed background, I find this bit of knowledge very suspicious. I do as well. I don't know that I picked up on that until now, but I do now as well. How would she know about frangible rounds? Possible someone planted that in her head. Like, put it in the surgeon's head. Ask him if it's a frangible round. Like, people aren't buying the 30-06 thing. See if he'll say frangible round. I don't know. OMG. Who you know what CK site is outstanding. Congrats to the entire team. This towards supporting that work. Who you know what CK site is outstanding. Oh. Yes, it is. The Who Killed CK site. It's amazing. It's amazing. That team does such a good job. I've actually communicated with them a little bit, and they're continually working on it and updating it. I think this is a long-term project for them, and it may expand way beyond just Charlie Kirk eventually. But thank you, Annie, for checking in. Very sensible redactions. The Justice Department should follow your lead. It allows for the clear evidence to speak and tell the story. Great investigation. Thank you. I did my best to redact everything that actually I didn't. Daisy did her best to redact everything that would be problematic, and I think she got it all. But yeah, it shouldn't cause any trouble. But Baron, oh man, you guys make me say this every now and then. Arkansan here. U of A announced today they're disaffiliating with TPUSA, citing that they are put off by how Charlie has been used by TPUSA since his assassination. EK's visit bombed. Is that true? University of Arkansas, TPUSA. Yes. Wow. No kidding. To the natural state? You guys are called the natural state? What does that even mean? No offense, but aren't all states pretty much natural? I mean, was any state artificially made? Oh, no, I messed it. Oh, here we go. The move comes less than a week after TPUSA CEO Erica Kirk's visit to the natural state. Weird. brought the governor's official endorsement of the organization. Fayetteville, Arkansas, Dateline. University of Arkansas chapter of Turning Point USA announced on Monday it is disaffiliating with the national group and rebranding, citing concerns about messaging and the organization's focus. TPUSA is a conservative, allegedly, student organization promoting Philadelphian values and political activism on campus across the country. It was founded by Charle Kirk, who was shot and killed at a speaking event last year. In a 3-page statement posted to Instagram, where'd it go? On March 16, U of A TPUSA President Dino Fontagrossi explained that he had been with the group for years and watched it grow over time. I joined TPUSA the first semester of my freshman year. That was 10 semesters ago. This chapter has meant the world to me, and I'm incredibly proud of everything we've accomplished. The organization gave him countless opportunities. The leadership at the campus chapter recently became concerned about the direction of the national group. It has seemed that this organization has lost sight of what is truly important. You think? Dino? We are no longer focused on our guiding North Star, that is fighting for conservative policy, principles, and values. Instead, it feels that we've become consumed with metrics, creating the next viral cultural moment. We've become reactionary where we need to be proactive. Rebranded Young American Revival. Yar! They're pirates now. Yar! That's awesome. Sometimes you got to hoist the black and white, grab a sword and get to work. Yar! That's awesome. Hey, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's interesting news. Interesting news. Afraid their dockets get backed up. Prosecutors and judges get PO'd at police if they arrest people able to fight back in court. So police learn to go after the easy marks like the poor and minorities. Maybe. Hey, Baron, the Battle of Bun was activated today. Candace was on fire on X and her show. I'm here for it. Stand us strong. Whoop, whoop. Ben standing on the couch. Go Max, Crisis King. Crisis King, indeed. Candace on X today was bananas. Candace bananas. I've got no words for it. You got to fight with a stripper, ladies and gentlemen. Like a legitimate fight. And apparently they're depositions. And I'm hoping they get released because they sounded amazing. I hope I get to watch them. Nope, there's no stripping, obviously. I think they keep it. Yeah, bean paste in the house, ladies and gentlemen. We got our kidney bean paste hoodie going. Why UVU? Mormon connections with Tyler seems odd to me. I don't know. I've asked myself that a lot. Ninjas are butterflies. Ask members who their dream guest would be, and I threw your name in the hat. Love your show. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. I don't know what a ninja butterfly is, but I'm game. From the Philippines, here for my Baron and breakfast. Oh, B&E over there, bright and early in the Philippines. Good to know. Good to know. I'll say this. One of my very best friends in high school had a Filipino mother. Their house always smelled amazing. And she always had this sticky rice that she would keep on the counter all day. And then she would hand make all this food and just leave it out. It was fun. It was fun going over there. Your humble host ate plenty. TMZ footage you showed, they have edited out a blue car and two people getting bottom right corner in. I sent you emails. Blue car pops up over 8X. Good. I'll look for the email. Because I don't know what you're talking about. Did we ever find out if it was true that TR was supposedly seen with a woman somewhere on the day of the CK shooting? Would love to know who she was and what information she could give. Crisis King. Crisis King indeed. Hey, so here's what we know. There was a couple of neighborhood boys that recreated the path the alleged shooter took it to ingress and egress out of the campus. And on the egress, they went back to that back area back there where he was seen running away at 12:29. That dirt patch I was showing you. And while they were back there, there was a woman who said, oh, could that woman he was with have helped him change clothes? And she got shut down real fast. The video's been pulled and I can't find it. So if you guys have a copy of it, email it to me. Not all of you at once. Maybe like one of you. Realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks, Baron. Do not fear exposing the Federal Reserve. If Massey feared they would start war, we wouldn't have the E-files. If CK appeared opposing our ally, we wouldn't have you and Candace exposing TPUSA. Expose evil and not avoid it. Well, a couple things on that. One, I'm not afraid of exposing the Fed. I'm afraid of the consequences of the world losing faith in the U.S. dollar. That's what I'm afraid of, and you should be too, frankly. And it's not that I worry about the U.S. dollar for the sake of the U.S. dollar. It's not that I worry about the U.S. dollar has to have dominance. It's not that. I worry about being able to eat. Like I have 8 kids. I worry about being able to feed them. I don't want to go to war with my neighbors over the last, can of ranch beans. And that's the kind of stuff you're talking about if the dollar goes away. Hey, Baron, I know you said you didn't want to put anything in that frame, but it sure would be a great place to put the RBP logo. Might as well promote your brand. Appreciate you and God bless. I'm a bad self-promoter. I get all this good advice from fellow podcasters. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. You should be. And I'm sure it would make money, and I'm sure it would make me a bigger show, and I'm sure. I have fun with you guys. I fire up the camera. We have a few hours of talk. I put like 10, 12 hours. Daisy puts several hours in to each show. I mean, she may put some shows 10 or 12 hours herself. My sister works hard. She reads all your emails, points the important ones that need to be reviewed over. We're getting the website up and running. We're getting the merch up and running. All that's ready to go almost. I got one step left, and I think about 10 minutes before I went on air, I saw the key for me to be able to do it. So hopefully very soon that'll go up, maybe as soon as tonight or tomorrow. But man, I got a little logo up there. It's right there. That little RBP logo. It's kind of promoty. I'm just not good at it. I'm not good at the self-promotion stuff. Other people are great at it. Regarding show yesterday, if all they had was a bullet fragment, where's the bullet? AK said was found just beneath the skin. They're so bad at lying. Yeah. If there's no exit wound, where's the rest of it? Take an x-ray. Show it and go get it. Hey, Baron, Mark Levin talked about his opening statement as he did a bio report on Dwight E. Eisenhower. So funny. You're huge in the heads of the mainstream media. I used to listen to Mark Levin. Believe it or not. This would have been like 15, 20 years ago. Back before we all knew better. Baron, you mentioned F1 and you're from Indiana. Do you watch IndyCar? I'm a massive fan of it, especially Ferrucci. Much love from North Alabama. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Yeah, I do watch it, and I've been to several races. And I like Santino Ferrucci quite a bit. I like some of the old heads, some of the boring guys. But, yeah. I mean, I'm not as big a fan. Maybe at one time I was a bigger fan than I was an F1 fan, but it's kind of switched over the years. Have you done a deep dive on TR and what they may have on him? Many seem to be involved, but he was the chosen one. Tyler Robinson and family have kept quiet. Crazy situation to go along with. Love your show. Never miss. Well, if it's something we could find on the internet doing a deep dive, he wouldn't be a very good patsy. So the likelihood we're able to uncover something sitting behind our keyboards looking at public databases is unlikely. And that's the way I kind of look at that. The fact that the person that put the timeline together is saying, wait, no, this was the 807 clip, not the other one. Wait, let me make sure again, just proves that everything we've been told is to confuse us. Yeah. And not only that, a lot of those clips have like 2 or 3 things together, and then the narrator's talking about one thing, but it's actually the later thing, and they've got it flipped. And it happened on several of those clips. So I agree with you. They've intentionally not made this easy on us. Thank you. TR supposed walking around casually and acting like he knows the neighborhood does not seem likely or even possible. Evil planners had plants where needed for their story. They were sloppy. They didn't expect us to still be looking at it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Nobody expects us to still be looking at this. You can get really sloppy if no one's going to look over your shoulder. Thank you for those Canuck bucks. My new theory based on you and Candace today. Had Charlie Kirk lived and had he witnessed this war, his leverage with the youth would have united the left and right. causing either masses demanding no war or the greatest ally or no greatest ally. God bless Baron. Christ most definitely is king. Christ is king indeed. I agree 100%. In fact, I believe this war probably was financed to happen last year, and Charlie Kirk talked the president out of it. So then he had to go, so that wouldn't happen. If I had to guess. TMZ footage after the bang edited, pink flowers in it. It has blue car and ROTC, La Quinta, Dairy Queen, police scanner. Remember Russell Kim Kennington arrested on campus, cops carrying gun, his questions sent emails. I do remember Russell Kim Kennington. I actually did a little bit of a dive into him and took some notes. I don't know what you mean by the pink flowers in it. So yeah, I'll read your email. Thank you. Hey, fan of the show, Jesus Christ is king indeed. As someone who has a checkered past, if you looked solely at it and didn't speak to me, you might say, hey, this person is guilty, which would absolutely not be true. Not at all. Not all points, heart. I don't know what that is. The point isn't that we look at someone's past and say they're guilty because they've done guilty things. The point is, are you an honest person? In other words, if I look at your past and you've lied about it, for example, I didn't date for the 5 years leading up to meeting Charlie Kirk. Well, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Like lots of them, lots of people. I was living in China doing humanitarian work. No, you were shacked up with a pro ball player. I lived in Puerto Rico fighting human transportation. No, you were shacked up with a pro ball player. I had this charity and we did all this amazing work and I founded it and we had an orphanage overseas. No, you never raised or spent more than $50,000. Your charity was a total scam. All you did was drop off some Christmas presents. And you could have done that anywhere. Like, are you a liar with a shady past? Because then shady, I said shady. It sounded, in my ears, it sounded like something else. Are you a liar with a shady past? Because if so, now we have a problem. But as long as you're not lying about it, then who cares? Don't judge me by my lowest moments. Please. Please don't judge me by my lowest moments, and I won't judge you by yours. Just don't lie about them. Baron just pulled a Baron. It's been known to happen. Yeah, I'm aware. The video narrator, I'm sorry. We can't hear you over the videos. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm curious to see those Ring cameras on normal Monday to Friday. Looks like regular students walk into class or possibly other patsies and would explain the outfits discrepancies. Patsies for the patsy or lookalikes for the narratives. Yeah. It would be real easy to plant patsies. Just have 10 people walk down the street and then whenever you need one, you just pull them out. As to your opening, I'd love to hear your opinion as an attorney about the WM3 case, West Memphis 3. Please look it up. Intriguing case and miscarriage of justice. A false confession caused it. I am familiar with it. I've never done like a deep dive on it. I'm aware of the case. Again, there are a lot of false confession cases and crappy police work cases, but I picked the one I picked to the two I picked to emphasize the stories tonight that we're covering. We couldn't understand either one. Yeah, I know. Sorry. This type of stuff Candace needs to be putting on her show. This changes everything. It's not just some side character. It's y'all's guy. Okay. Guys, if you spent 15 years in broadcasting and then start podcasting and become confident with the mic and grow a following, you too can talk at the same time as a Brit and find out who's the loudest. I didn't mean to do that, guys, obviously. It was muted. I can mute the board on things coming in my ears, and because I couldn't hear it, I didn't realize that was playing something. Down. For Daisy and the Mods, God bless. Thank you. Corey Richins was just found guilty on all counts, including aggravated M by Tyler Robinson's attorney. No, they weren't found guilty by he wasn't found guilty by the attorneys. He was found guilty by the jury. They were insufferable and unsuccessful. I bet Tyler Robinson's not sleeping as well tonight as he was. If we have to be honest with ourselves. YouTube has become the great firewall of China. Okay. Baron and Daisy, I appreciate you both. God bless. Thank you. Kelbella. Seems like Tyler Robinson's defense team doesn't want to risk the death penalty at all, so is setting him to plea out, including not angering prosecutors by even insinuating his innocence. Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with you, and that's terrible. In those 13 minutes, they switched out TR for a lookalike to take the shot as TR was already off campus. His task was to enter campus and leave. I've wondered that. Like, was that what he was doing down there? He's told to go in the holding pen under the building, and then someone else would come from a different angle. They would switch clothes, and then he would leave in the other guy's clothes, and that guy would go. I've wondered that. Like somebody walks in real loud clothing, pink and orange and blue. And then Tyler walks in or whoever's supposed to be Tyler walks in all black, and then they switch clothes. And then loud clothing guy walks out this way and all black guy goes up, but they're two different people. They've switched. I've thought about that. I don't know if that's what you were saying, but that's what's crossed my mind. Bubba Baron, I watch your show instead of studying for my organic chemistry test. Just saying, I appreciate what you're doing and what you do. I think we're close. Dakara, study for your test. I'll be here tomorrow. Has no footage been obtained of TR leaving his home the morning of 9/10 and additional following to campus? I don't know, actually. You would think the highway cams would have him all the way up. But they haven't released that. Was going to make a big bowl of Fed Slop for dinner, but after seeing your hoodie, decided on rare steak with bean paste. Sounds delicious. Thanks for all you do. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Even king of people who eat rare steak and bean paste. Someone made a video saying Hall of Flags runner is just a bug out the window, and I can't unsee it now. I don't think that's true. He didn't run down the stairs, so he could be conveniently seen on selective FBI footage. Yeah, well, that's what it kind of seems like. Some question why Cash was involved with CK's muck duck from the start. I just learned that they are required to investigate when crimes are committed on military property. Isn't the ROTC considered military? I don't know. I don't know about the truth of that claim that they're required to investigate when. I don't know. Well, let's break it down. I don't know if it's true that the FBI is required to investigate when crimes are committed on military property. I don't know that that's true. Second, I don't know that UVU would be considered military property. Maybe portions of it, but I don't know about the whole campus. So I can't evaluate that claim. New to faith because of Charlie Kirk. I asked God if anyone was going to be held accountable. Saul to read Job 20. Please read for hope for community. All will be revealed. Christ is king. Go Max. Thanks for all you do. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the faith. And yeah, we win in the end. Like we'd like to, in the temporal realm here, we'd like to solve things, but in the end, we know who wins. The level of censorship lately is absolutely pathetic. Are we being censored tonight? I don't think so. Are we? Escape roof runner had no shadow while running across the roof before his spidey descent off the roof. I noticed that. I was told that was because of whatever that material is diffuses light rather than, I don't know. Someone made some claim and it seemed reasonable to me. I'd be interested to see somebody else get up there, but I'm afraid if you get up there right now, you might not end well because of obviously what happened. The gator that pulls out is also similar to the one at Phil Lyman's from Satellite View episode. Is it? I've got that map. I was actually looking at that map today. And I didn't show it, but there was an interesting, all right, I'll just tell you what I saw today. There was an interesting component to you remember the video where the alleged Tyler Robinson pulls into the shopping center? Well, a car pulls in right behind him, and it's a van. And I thought, where have I seen that van before? And then I realized where I'd seen the van. It was at TPUSA, but it's a common van, Ford Transit van or whatever. Yeah, it does kind of look like it, doesn't it? I'll show you guys. Hang on. That kind of looks like a lawnmower, actually. I'm not going to show you because I disagree. I'll double check that. If I change my mind, I'll show it in another show. Jumping in late, but 15,000 watching, 5.3 thousand likes. Let's do better for Baron. Hit the like. Agreed. Guys, the liking is pathetic. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't say that. We're up to 8,100, though. We're getting close. We're getting close. That white SUV is driving in the lower left frame when you can see the guy walking guy in full view. The beginning of the video before the jump off the roof. I'll have to go back and look at that. I must have missed that. Is that not the white SUV in the bottom? Well, you guys have me 2 in a row guessing. Now you got me wondering. Let me pull it back up. Jumping off the roof video coming right up. We'll watch it. Oh, it is driving in the lower left. Yeah, good call. Well, in that case, my analysis remains the same, though. I'll share this screen so you guys can all see it. My analysis remains the same. Why did they zoom in? Because you've got to look on the left-hand side of the screen here. You've got a guy walking right here. Left-hand side, far row. Like there's 4 rows of cars. Starting at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. Between row 3 and 4, you have a guy walking with a backpack. Then you have this white SUV between rows 1 and 2 driving. As soon as we can find out if they're stopping and talking or anything else, they zoom in and you can't see. That bothers me. I'd like to see that unedited footage. We know how to zoom. We know how to zoom. You don't have to zoom for us. You don't have to slow anything down. We can slow stuff down. We can zoom in. We can zoom out. Just give us the footage. Stop playing with stuff. Stop playing with stuff. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. I appreciate your intelligence, courage, humility, humor, candor, and commitment to Christian values. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will see peace. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Thank you for all those compliments. I don't feel worthy of them, but thank you. There are 3 vehicles in the parking lot. White SUV enters. We just established that. You can see the reflection in the windows. The red SUV was in the lot. Easy go-kart driver should have seen him make the jump. Yeah, I agree with all of that. Yep. Is video of TR from 9/10. Can people verify the cars? So I've gone back and looked at the satellite imagery from that day, and the cars are in the exact same spot. So I have a feeling that's it. Like that is the same day. White SUV turned left, picked up, look again. It turned right. If it turned left, it'd have gone in the grass. Did the SUV slow to remind him to limp? Maybe. I don't know. All street videos too far to recognize as Tyler. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Isn't that the point? Those texts are ridiculous to believe. I always taught not to give that many details if I lie. They truly think we're stupid. There used to be a advertisement for a book. This was on talk radio 25 years ago. It was an advertisement that ran on all these shows. And it had all these inspirational quotes or whatever, like quotes to live by. And one of the quotes that it gave in pitching the book was, "Clever liars give details. The cleverest don't." I always thought that was a funny line. Outfits are worn in plays, theater. He's just changing his outfit for the next scene. That's a good point. A good point. Outfits are also worn by women. We saw countless reenactment of the 30-06 shot. How about a reenactment of rifle in skinny jeans? Costume changes. Fed slop is slop. That's a good point. All these people shooting at turkeys and pork shoulders and lamb chops and beef thighs and femurs. How about somebody shove a 30-06 in a pair of skinny jeans? I'd like to see that. Those of you who are telling me that's in his jeans. Oh, it's just in his jeans, Baron. That's why I can't bend his knee. Show me. Show me. Because if you're telling me that, I'm guessing you have skinny jeans. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that opinion. If you think Tyler Robinson did it, you wear skinny jeans. I'm confident I'm right on that. Guys, it's getting late. Now I'm getting goofy. Do you remember Russell Kim Kennington? Yes. TMS tech snuck on crime scene, fled into UV room. Cops take him out with a rifle. I do remember that. And I remember he gave a really lousy explanation for it. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what the lousy explanation was, but I remember it was lousy. He's trying to recreate something or memorialize something. Got my autism water here. Dirt area he runs through is the area you showed on a satellite from that day, and the truck left and the van was there, like it was waiting for him. So the reason I know the truck was still there after the Big Bang is because I have video footage in my files, and I would never be able to pull it up right now, but I know it exists, and I could find it if I had to. I have video footage in my files of the police looking in the truck after the event. So after the event happens, bang, he jumps off the Losi Center. He runs into the bushes, changes outfits, stashes the gun in the chicken coop, runs through the dirt area in the back like Blake Neff. He runs back there. He turns, heads the other direction, and then he's gone. Vanishes like a fart in a whirlwind. Never to be, well, not to be found again for 33 hours, apparently. And the police show up, and they start looking around. And in the video footage I have, you can actually see the police looking in that truck. So that truck didn't move after the Big Bang. It was still there. It was still there. I'm a little behind, but the SUV in the parking lot was on the bottom left corner of the first show. Then he's running across the roof. Watch again. I did. We all did. Is it the road where the gun was found the same one the white SUV stopped sideways? If so, do you know if the car stopped before or after the Big Bang? It was before. Hour and a half-ish before, if I had to say. This is a high IQ stuff we're talking about right here. Sold to Big Ricky Daniels. Thank you. Fed Slop, blah, la, 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 la. Tastes like Alpo. Will Tyler's team have access to all the data found on Charlie's phone leading up to, even through Erica had the opportunity to erase it? I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. It'd be cool if they subpoenaed it. I don't know why they wouldn't. I think a judge would give it to them. They know it still exists. I know it exists because I had a text thread, and if you open it up with Charlie, it's been checked in the last month. You know, it says like hasn't been seen. He's been dead for 6 months. And it says last seen within the last month. I'll show it to you. I don't know if it says it was a few days ago. Let's see it here. Where'd it go? That's not it. Oh, chats. Sorry. Well, wherever. Oh, no. Has it been deleted in its entirety now? Oh, there it is. Yeah, look. Last seen within the last month. You see that at the very top? Last seen within the last month. Someone's looking at his phone. How else are they looking at that? Hadn't many texts exchanged on that. When did the feds ask about the video footage in the parking lot? How are they tracking his phone if they didn't know who the shooter is? I think it was maybe 3 or 4 days later, if I had to guess. Maybe a week even later. I remember when it happened, when it came out. But it was several days later. They allegedly knew who he was. But Baron, do you think the group who was driving around in the rental cars had a local person driving a Dodge Challenger the same color as Tyler's or Tyler's? I mean, either's possible. Baron saw the video of Michael K. saying attacking EK is evil. Do you think he, Matt, Walsh are truly misinformed? I really liked them at one point. Thoughts? I think large quantities of cash and the desire to not be attacked and the desire to be liked makes people think a lot of things. And if if they know that change, like even if they're not thinking about it subconsciously, if they know changing their position on that is going to cost them tens of millions of dollars or more. I mean, these guys make a lot of money. When you get to that level, you're in the seven figures. Like you're making $1 million, $2 million, $5 million a year or more. Maybe not five, but more than $1 million. I would guess Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles each make well more than $1 million. When you're at that level and you're making that much money, it probably is in the back of your mind that you know you have to take certain steps to stay in the good graces of the guy cutting you a check that large every week. I mean, that's 20 grand a week. That's not before YouTube takes their cut. That's not, you don't have any payroll. You don't have any business compliant costs. You don't have, that's just take home pay. You know what I mean? Like that's theirs. And more, maybe more. So I think they would think a lot of things. But I don't know that. Maybe they truly believe it. Like I don't discount the potential that they just truly believe it. They're just misinformed. They don't know all the facts. They don't follow it that closely. They're doing their own show. They look over and they go, "What's she talking about?" And then they're back to their own show. And then they look and they hear everybody else saying she's crazy, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, looks crazy." Maybe that. Since this appears to be coordinated, where do all the players meet to get instructions or practice? They had to practice, perhaps, maybe. Blessing. You'd be surprised how few of them would have to meet and practice to pull something like this off. Well, a lot of people could just be told where to be. Like, I am one of those people that thinks there probably were 5 or more patsies on campus that day. In and out. Walk to campus, now come back, now drive down that road, park over here for a little while. Hey, head over here, walk down this road, and they're being picked up on video and they don't even know it. Their phones are being pinged. They don't even know it. And then when the time came, like you can't run an operation like this with one patsy. What if he doesn't show up? The reason he's being selected as a patsy is he's disposable. Well, disposable people usually aren't the most conscientious people. They're not the most reliable people. Buffed Baron is featured in a newly released Adfleet video. Who loves Fed Slop? Really? Adfleet, you rock, BC. Everyone go watch after RBP. I'll pull it up so that I'll remember to watch it as soon as it's over. Who loves? Yeah, there it is. Oh gosh, Tucker's in it. Yep, I'll watch it. Man, Buff Baron is huge. I guess she didn't see my open scores. She'd shrink me back down. They were bad. This Fed Slop story was created with a Joe AI. What if white SUV is to pick up Tyler and meet up with Lance, who's driving Tyler's Challenger? Maybe they met up at the mall parking lot so Tyler could get in with Lance. Could be. I don't know. Please shout out my 80-year-old parents and tell Merle and Phil bull butter is a polite, ugly word. They thought I made it up and they paid for my UA degree. Roll Tide. I stole bull butter from my 9th grade physical science teacher. His name was Coach Polly. God rest his soul. He's no longer with us. Coach Polly was great. He was one of my all-time favorite teachers. And some kid was giving him a hard time one day, making comments, saying something. It was obviously not true. Like he had to go to the bathroom for the 3rd time that class or whatever. And Coach Polly's face turned all red. He's like, "Oh, bull butter." And that stuck right in the old craw. Oh, man. I've used that phrase 1,000 times since that day. Maybe 2,000 times since that day. But yeah, bull butter. So it is, Merle and Phil. It is a polite way to say bull doo-doo. We like to keep it family friendly around here to the extent possible. Ryan Matta dropped a S-bomb on us today. I forgot that was in there. Oh, wait, what did you say about your UA degree? Oh, they paid for your UA degree. Roll Tide. Oh, gosh. Well, God love them. Adfleet. You talking about the one that's making Buff Baron? I'm not going to play the video. I want you guys to go over to her show and watch it. But check this out. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Fleet. I look great. Are you allergic to dairy? I am. Which said you may be. I am. So just curious. LOL. Here's $5. Okay, thanks. Bye. Yeah, I am. It flares my asthma up something awful. I start hacking stuff up, and you don't want to be around. Not like a gassy thing. It's a lung thing. It's like TR knew it was his last hours of freedom and decided to indulge in ice cream and a meal. God bless you, Baron and Coleman family. Yeah, you could look at it that way. You could look at it that way. He knew the game was up. He knew he was toast. He knew what his mission was. And he's like, you know what? If I'm going down, I'm getting a chocolate chip blizzard and a ribeye. Maybe that was like a steakhouse his granny took him to when he was younger, and he just wanted to eat there one more time. When did he get a huge towel for a 4-foot gun? I have towels that would fit that, but that wasn't a gun. There was no gun in there. Someone said early on that TR's grandma lives in the town. That's what I said. Maybe Granny used to take him to Cowboys. Can't remember who had that info, though. Great work. Thank you, Crisis King. Crisis King, indeed. I think Granny used to live there. I don't think she still lives there anymore. Didn't someone say maybe Candace, that one of Tyler Robinson's grandmothers, lived near the Cowboys restaurant, so he likely visited or stayed with her? Again, maybe she still lives there, but I did what I do. And Daisy did as well. And we both, I think, independently concluded that that Granny doesn't live there anymore. But maybe I'm wrong about that. I think she lives down in Washington, if I'm not mistaken. If others were involved, could it be a UVU ROTC operation? He had friends in the program? I don't know. Maybe. Baron, next to Candace and Tucker Carlson, your audience cannot wait for your shows. You're so loved by many, many. That reminds me of, I don't remember the exact line, in the Novus Ordo Mass where they talk about he died for many. I'm always like, a lot of many, maybe a whole bunch of many. I don't know what many is. It sounds kind of small. God, let's open it up. Notice Tyler in a maroon shirt at Dairy Queen. That was the color of the day, remember? I don't know that was the color of the day. There were a lot of people in maroon shirts, though. Sorry, I'd love to tip more, but have to get gas in the morning. Your gift is appreciated. Thank you. Your support has not gone without notice. Thankful for your support. Genuinely thankful. Thank you. TR roof jumping vid. Guy calmly walking on the road right side of Losi. Guy didn't hear 30-6. Look, I wear either hearing aids or earbuds all the time, and it's usually playing music or podcast or something. If I have earbuds in, I usually have the sound dampening stuff. Maybe not. But remember, a lot of people thought it was a firework. I had to do it in Utah. Only state on Charlie Kirk tour schedule that has the means to carry out capital sentence. Could have used Mississippi date as a backup, but likely no injectables. Oh, interesting. Aaron, I had to leave for a few minutes and missed something. Where and at what time did he send the text message? Christ is King. We don't have the precise locations he sent them or what time. We just know general ranges of when he sent them. So you didn't miss much. Come on, people, smash that like button. Smash. I'll go look and see about your compliance levels, people. Unbelievable. I'm just kidding. But hit the like button. Subscribe, like, notifications, share with friends. Apologies for a late show as he sits here and reads every last super chat. We love you, Baron. I don't always read everyone, but I try to. On days where I can, I get to all of them. On days where I just can't, I don't get to all of them, but I try to get to as many as I possibly can. Look, I send super chats to people, and I like when they read them. And if they don't get to them, I understand. I assume they are like me. The ones they don't get to, they go back after the show and read. I do that. I don't know why you wouldn't. If someone sends a hard-earned $5 or $10 to you, why would you not read what they have to say? So, and I mean, YouTube categorizes, archives all of them. So I'm able to go back real quickly after the show and scan them all and see which ones I didn't get to. I assume other people do that as well. But yeah, I'm doing my best out here. Baron, do you know if they got DNA from the towel used to wrap the gun? I believe they said they did. I remember they said that gun DNA matched TR, but I'm confused about the towel. I think the gun DNA matched TR and allegedly 4 other people. That came out in one of the hearings. And I think the towel DNA may have matched several people as well. Wow, Sarah, thank you. Hey, Baron, following since early, CK. You're my first super chat and membership. Thank you for everything you do. Your integrity, fighting for the truth, greater good, and being a voice we can trust. Sincerely appreciate you and Daisy. Signed, a fellow Catholic and high IQ outfit enthusiast. Well, I am now a Sarah enthusiast. So thank you. Thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Kind words. Hey, Baron, tell Mrs. Coleman we appreciate her. I do. I tell her you guys appreciate her. Curious G, is this one of the reasons the defense does not want the media to witness the debauchery of the lack of defense? Go Max GBC. God is great. This one of the reasons the defense does not want the media to witness the debauchery of the lack. What does that mean? The debauchery of the lack of defense. I don't know. It's interesting to me. You know, I am losing faith in the defense, and I hate that. Your Ian impression went from Deep South to Prison Mike from The Office. I do terrible impressions. Absolutely terrible impressions. Ian has the most neutral Pacific Northwest accent. Like, it's neutral. No discernible accent. Now, you Brits might disagree, but we Americans find his accent very neutral. And I don't know why I made him Foghorn Leghorn. I figure a president should talk like that. Like LBJ meets George W. Bush. Meets the guy from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Thank you for being my bubble of sanity lately. My Navy hubs just got news today. Their carrier ship out in a week and to prepare for a long deployment. I'm heartbroken. Please pray for him and all serving. I absolutely will do that. I am now heartbroken with you. Obviously not as heartbroken as you are, I'm sure, but that's devastating. Devastating. I hope you guys are able to keep in touch. Your point about Fox News handling the officer's stated time by simply changing it. Brilliant. You're so right about that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I believe that the news should have integrity. Ian and Candace both rocked today. Solid righteous anger, concern for Tucker, and all seeking truth. Gate Show, of course, bad cop is your battle bud. Yeah, I have to break it out every now and then. Baron, it looks like the white SUV is parked while Tyler runs across the roof before he jumps. Look at the bottom middle on the wide shot. Looks like the same white SUV zooms out of the parking lot. Could have been monitoring the guy on the roof. Could have been. Or dropping someone off. Again, planting evidence perhaps, or picking someone else up who actually also had some other role. Or, I mean, those are nefarious reasons. I suppose it's possible he was just wrong place, wrong time. Not holding my cup like a psycho. Not Benjamining it. Not Benjamining my cup. Holding it like a normal human being. Were those E-Bucks? Wow. Probably daytime over there, isn't it? Or early, middle morning. Ian would drain the swamp by destroying Philadelphia, which makes the swamp. Sorry if it didn't click with you. I wish... Oh, Iran would drain the swamp by destroying Philadelphia, which makes the swamp. Sorry it didn't click with you. Okay, I got you. I'm not wishing for civilian casualties on either side, by the way. I know some people are. I understand your frustration. But I'm not into civilian casualties. I'm not into military casualties. I'd like just to have some peace. I understand the injustices that should probably be rectified. I get that. I wish I could remember her name to give her credit. By the way, I agree Ian would make a great president. I think he'd be fantastic. I would love to live in a country run by Ian. That'd be awesome. I don't often rewatch CO shows after my first watch, as my other favorite podcasters cover the best parts. I will definitely be part of the rewatch crew today. Battle Bun. Yeah, she was in rare form on Twitter. You should read her Twitter feed from today. And don't forget the replies. I found pics of EK on a gun range. She apparently knows a little about firearms. Might be why she knew something about asking surgeon. Where's EK's sister? What does she do for a living? And will you go over her file? I don't intend to because I've not found any connection to this case whatsoever. I know where she is. I know where she lives. I know what she does for a living, but I don't find it relevant yet. I've not found any connection that's worth exploring. Baron, does TR appear from behind the parked cars on West 800 before the mystery SUV arrives? Also sent a related email. Great work as always. No, I think he's just walking down the street. I mean, it appears from behind parked cars in the sense that he's behind them relative to the positioning of the camera, but not like walking between them, I don't believe. I'll go back and look at it, but I don't think so. Thank you, by the way. Truly disappointed in Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles constantly getting humiliated on live panels with Benny. Why? Honestly, makes me sad. Yeah, I'm disappointed in them too. Both of them. Both of them. I go from time to time to the parish where Michael Knowles goes, and other people go there, and makes me sad. Makes me sad that they have to sit there while people make fun of them and demand that they perform. Baron, Nick Shirley is sus on PBD podcast. Nick says he interviewed Charlie in Orem 1 hour before he got shot. Claims he lucky he decided to fly back to NYC before rally. What the heck? Tyler Oliveira is sus too. I don't think that second sentence is true or accurate. It's not as far as I understand it. But I could be wrong. I don't think he was in Orem at all. But I could be very wrong. If so, that's gotten past me. Fellow Ginger from Canada, Wolves in Finance, dropped crazy interesting connections Sunday. Did you see it? And if so, your thoughts for Super Chat prayers. I did see it. I'm not ready to talk about it yet. I've got to organize some thoughts on that. I've got to research some of what he said. He made a lot of claims and did not, in typical fashion, he provides documentation to support his claims, and he didn't. So before I echo those claims, I would want to go find the documentation to support some of the things he said. He made just some big, broad claims, and I like to put documents up and say, look at that document. That proves what I'm saying here. That's just the show I run. I've always run a show that way. EK and JD at TPUSA, terrible choice with the hug rumors. Candace just released the deposition info on the stripper. I know what I'm doing after the show. I'm watching Adfleet's Buff Baron tries Alpo, and I'm watching Strippergate. Thanks for telling me that. I'll be watching that with bated breath. Excellent show. Waiting to watch that. Excellent show tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Granny Manny. Put your kids to work in the fields. Grandpa did with all 13 of his children. That's a major reason people used to have as many children as possible. Dad put all 6 of us to work in his store. Really? All 6? All 6? I put my kids to work, but not in the field. I don't have a field. From our friends on the Grumble side. Why did TR cross the road? Thanks for all you do. Love the show. Lord bless you and keep you. I don't know why he crossed the road, but he crossed it just the right time to get the best angle at those cameras. I did notice that. Are you aware Jeb Jacobi stood directly beside Charlie Kirk in a group photo taken after Charlie arrived at UBU? Lyman is in the group photo as well. I have not seen that, but it doesn't surprise me because Charlie took a photo with a bunch of the volunteers that were there that day. Alberto. Opening statement reminds me of Making a Murderer. Brendan Dassey, corrupting his young mind into confessing and also wasn't a very smart kid. Made me livid watching that series. I remember when that was huge. Remember when Tiger King was a thing? COVID was a wild time. Netflix set the whole world on fire with Making a Murderer and Tiger King. That was when Netflix was like in its prime. Also, can't for the life of me understand them having tent raised. The only thing I can think is to catch pieces of device when it explodes, but you paved over anyways. I don't know. Thanks for all you do, Christ is King. I think the tent raised, if we're thinking skeptically and cynically, was to give give a realistic view from the roof, if I had to guess. Otherwise, that that wouldn't fly because he'd had to shoot through a tent roof, and then people would know he didn't get shot. I think a man's battle bun would be a clip-on mullet. I'm in. I'm game. Mullets are dope. Newish viewer from Alaska, 1 month. How do I become an exclusive member? I hit join on Rumble. It just took me to locals. I signed up, but all I saw was a chat hooked on the show. So yeah, Rumble, the members on Rumble don't really get the same experience as the members on YouTube. And I hate that. I genuinely hate that. And I've actually talked to someone in the C-suite at Rumble because they reached out to me and said, hey, we see you're doing the show and you're doing well on YouTube. We'd like you to do more stuff on Rumble. And I was like, I would love to do more on Rumble, but the problem is, like, I can't give the same level of Rumble access to members. And he acknowledged that. And he said, well, you can use locals. And I was like, I can, but and so I do intend to actually talk to my sister today about doing more with locals here in the very near future. So stand by, stay tuned. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. I got a honey badger to get to. I like Miss Cato's idea of a show with group of hosts. What if we, the people, could address most important issues together and be comfortable with our differences? We can build a base with right, left, and others on combined interests, such as no war in Iran. Thoughts? Yeah, I think the old left-right paradigm is quickly dying. I think it's very quickly dying. Thank you for that generous contribution, by the way. Baron, I was worried about you when you were running late tonight. Glad to see you're okay. Also, can someone please make a Baron bloopers compilation? People have done that. There are a few of them on YouTube, believe it or not. Okay, Candace's episode where she broke the story of him eating steak in Penguich. She said he slept at Grandma's house in the same town. I think she speculated he may have slept at Grandma's house. And I'm not confident Grandma still lives there. Maybe she does. Unsub is y'all while holding White Claw. Oh. It's drunk us. Okay. There ain't no laws when you're drinking claws. I feel bad for Harvey. I feel a little bad for Harvey, if I'm being honest. I feel a little bad for Donna, too, though, if I'm being honest. Sir Baron, are you growing tired of Charlie Kirk content? We love you and don't want you to burn out. Take care of yourself. God bless. No, it's not burnout. It's late. I did a very intense workout today. I did not do a particularly good job. I was frustrated with myself on it. I don't know. I'm not burnout. I know who Miss Daisy is. I won't tell. People are allowed to have anonymity on the internet. Can you explain more about the TR talking to the cops? I don't remember hearing that in the beginning. Also, thanks everyone for the prayers. Y'all the best. Christ is King indeed. I don't have any more info than was in the Fox News article that they changed. Apparently, he made contact with the police around 6:30. And then he didn't. And then he made it later in the evening. Started Rome Sweet Home this week. Can't wait to get deeper into it. Finish the book list so I know what else to get. I'm really bad about stuff like that. And I will get to it. I promise you. We will have a book list soon. Salt Lake Tribune, 910. Shana Broderick ran to his grandmother's house, 847 South 800 with Phil Lyman. That house is across First Lyman House. Backyard is the dirt area. Whole block related to Mormons. Not just Mormons. The whole block, I think, is related to Phil Lyman, if I'm not mistaken. Baron propping Charlie on top of a box made him more visible and vulnerable. Wasn't that setup new and different from the normal setup? It was very new and very different. I have not yet found an old Charlie Kirk where the tent was popped up like that, or he was sitting quite so high. I saw a commercial for the DR baseball game. Couldn't help but sing I Know Black Poppy. I can't sing it with you. I'm not going to sing it, but the coach stuff is fantastic. The coach content Ad Fleet does is great. When is that game? That's tomorrow? You have a new video on Ad Fleet. I'm going to watch it. I've got it pulled up. I'm looking at it right here. It'll be the first thing I do when the show ends. I asked my hubby and he said, clothes? Guys don't wear outfits. Keep up the good work, Baron. We need more high IQ truth tellers like you and Candace. Christ is King. There are a few of us out there. Ad Fleet, please. Mulan, CO, putting hair in bun, defeating Ben. Hey, Baron, love your show. I kind of hope Ad Fleet makes a Candace versus the strippers. I got to wait. I got to see what she's released. Do you think the defense team has half of what you and Candace have if they put an in-detail timeline together. I'm sure they put a timeline. I don't know if it's as good as ours, but I'm sure they put something together. Amanda333 YouTube posted article Pastor 79 crucified at home AZ. Killer said plot to kill 14 Christian leaders sentenced to death. Scary. Love you, Baron. That's terrifying. I hope that's not true. Why would he not tell his attorneys what really happened if he did not pull the trigger? If he goes to prison with a plea deal, he will be killed. They don't need him talking. I would hope he talked openly and candidly to his attorneys. I would be very frustrated if I was an attorney for somebody and they weren't talking to me. Just finished Candace going back to the cop that found elbow and knee imprints on the roof. That's laughable. Loose stone is used on roofs for drainage. Distinct imprints won't be left. I'll take your word for it. Peace comes after the return. Baron, if you start wearing a bun, I'm out. I'm out too. You don't have to worry about it. No bunning from Baron. No bunning from Baron. Guys, the time has arrived. It's 11 o'clock at night, Central Daylight Time. I got to go to bed. I have got to go to sleep. I have to. It's a must. It must be done. I appreciate you joining me on a very late night. I will not do this very often, I promise, but it was a necessity tonight. And yes, I know I would rather keep an earlier time, but I can't always commit to it. So thank you guys for joining me on a late night. I know it's probably an hour or so later than we normally go. I hope you guys sleep well tonight. I hope you get to bed, stay asleep, take your magnesium, get you a good night's sleep. And I'll be back Wednesday. In all likelihood, I will not be here tomorrow for a couple reasons. I have some work being done on the house tomorrow, and I don't know how loud and bangy it'll be. There's a repair that needs to be done, and so it could go late into the afternoon or evening, and I don't want to be on the air with bang, 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 bang. But hopefully that's just one day, and I'll be back Wednesday. In the meantime, you guys know, don't forget, Jesus loves you. Have a good night, and go check out Adfleet's video. She does great work. Go support her. She's fantastic. I'll talk to you guys soon. Jesus loves you.